Okay, let me just get my my live stream sound hooked up here, which is not correct right now. Let's see, just a second here. Okay, can I just get a sound check from someone there?
Testing.
Okay, now we got it. Okay, good. Yep, I think we're good. Okay, so
Hoe ga je hem opladen?
let's begin. Let me just make
Weet je
sure
dat?
the microphones are.
Oké.
Thank you, Richard. Okay, so welcome everyone to the 89th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. It's Thursday, November 26th, 2015, and we'll be online with Mr. Kesh at the Kesh Foundation Spaceship Institute once again. And I'm sure we're in for some further surprises today. There's Mr. Kesh now, communicating in sign language to the people there. And
Can you hear me?
I believe we're pretty much ready to go here. Hello, Mr. Kesh.
Good morning, good day to you, as usual, wherever you listen to these teachings and knowledge seeker programs. As maybe some of you have forgotten, we are part of the 18 months cycle of world peace. And as we started with the energy in exchange for peace with the world ambassadors, this has taken a new direction in past couple of weeks. We don't talk that it doesn't disturb, but we have started reaching world leaders in a very smooth way in enforcing the peace through technology. We will announce these as we come to conclusion with different governments in agreement with peace. And in so many ways, we have received blessing at the highest orders within the Catholic Church to support us to achieve this peace. We work, you met the Monsignor, and through there, we don't work through the office of Pope, but we use the facilities available to see if we can do. And if we can achieve, because His Eminence, the Pope, has brought up the same kind of plan for peace. So we talk the same language. But now, in different directions, we try to achieve peace through technology. Accidentally, I was just never do this. I was going somewhere on the surf to pick up a knowledge, and something popped up in front of me last night. And I sent it to Vince. I said, Vince, put it on. Can you share a screen, please? I asked Vince to put it on this morning because it's exactly 3 years ago when this happened. And a lot of us has forgotten how powerful this technology is for bringing peace. As you remember, we used to have, we still have as part of the forum, as we gave the key USB stick to different government for peace, we announced it. We announced this government or that government achieved, requested for the key. And strange enough, exactly 3 years ago in November, it was a milestone in changing and achieving peace in a very predominant way, but in a very smooth way. When we put it out, it was just the writing on the internet. We wrote what happened. But now, 3 years later, we see how true and how we were influential in this peace talk. Vince, have we got that to put up? This is from the forum of the Kesh Foundation last 3 years ago in November and December.
Oh,
This is
no, okay. You mean it's in the, you sent me in mail?
the whole
Okay.
structure of this writing on the forum of the Kesh Foundation 3 years ago. In the case we've been involved, partially we are still involved, but in a bigger way. And now with having such a large number of followers around the world, runs to millions, we can dictate more in the direction where we want to go, where we want to achieve peace through technology. The energy units, the car units are totally irrelevant. They are just a tool to create peace, to bring people to see there's a different way to do things. But when you can influence the path of history through technology, that's what it counts. This is what we see how correct is, and how you can use technology to influence the most powerful nations in the world to sit on the table of talk. And when you do it so openly the way we do, they have no way but to be open. Because if it doesn't happen, if something goes wrong, they cannot be blamed for. In so many ways, now we are following the same path through the same nation. Two nations, which we will see on this board, which we initiated the peace talk. Now we are back on the same table, but with 2 or 3 more nations to be involved in the bigger peace talk. So we put the framework of peace 3 years ago. We managed through a correct conduct to achieve it, because when you read it 3 years ago, this was something just on a forum, but now we know it's a reality. So we've proven, we've done what we said. For 30 years, we could not be achieved. Now, the same 2 nations are back on the same table with us, but adding a couple of more nations to it, which is the beauty of the structure. Can you expand your Zoom? Are you sharing? Can you open it up that we can you read it for us, please? Open it up fully that we can see it and read it, please. Rick?
Yeah, it's fully open in my second window here. I'm not quite sure what to do, but
It's fully open.
what do you
Okay,
mean?
would you like to read it for us? This is from the Keshe Foundation Forum in December 2000 November, December 2012. Would you like to read it for us from the top to bottom, please?
Yeah, I'd like to open it better. If there's Vince, can you advise me what can I do to open it better? Okay, good. Okay, I'll read it. It says, Keshe, USA, the latest addition to the Keshe Foundation family. We are proud to announce that today, 15/11/2012, the nation of United States of America has received the USB stick containing all patents and blueprints of the nuclear reactor plasma spaceship technology of the Keshe Foundation. We welcome our American brothers in the family of the Keshe Foundation spaceship program, and surely we will reach new horizons with the addition of the American government and NASA to our family. Note, following my letter offering as a gift the spaceship program to the ambassador of the USA in Belgium in late October on the 6th of November 2012 at 3:45 p.m., I was in receipt of an email in response to this friendly offer from the USA Embassy in Brussels. The content of the email from the embassy confirmed that the USA is ready to accept the gift of the nuclear reactor plasma spaceship technology of the Keshe Foundation, and in return, emails immediately. The date was agreed as was suggested by the embassy. Today, the 15th of November 2012 at 3 p.m. at the appointed place, the director of the Keshe Foundation and the senior officer of the U.S. Embassy met in a friendly and cordially, excuse me just a second here, in a friendly and cordially manner, and the spaceship technology USB stick was handed over to the government of the United States of America. We have offered the US and NASA our full support for their development and deployment of this technology. With this meeting and exchange of nuclear technology, we hope to bring to an end the lasting apparent animosity between the two nations. We shall build on this progress to bring peace into space for all nations. I, as the director of the Kesh Foundation and an Iranian nuclear scientist, I thank His Excellency President Obama for ordering such a move by his embassy. In our meeting, we have reached and extended the hand of peace from our side to his nation, and I hope this will be reciprocated the same by His Excellency President Obama, now that borders have become meaningless with deployment of this new spaceship program and technology. I thank the American ambassador, His Excellency Mr. Gutman, for his most gracious move, and I'm sure the first steps towards peace between two nations, as is the wish of Iran, has come to take shape. With kindest regards to all men of peace, M.T. Kesh, the director of the Kesh Foundation.
Now you see the USB stick. Thank you very much.
Sorry, I didn't have my microphone on in. Sorry, I didn't have my microphone on in live stream. I'll have to. I'll cut that back in later and have to splice that in. Okay.
Okay, that's good. No problem. So what you see, a USB stick exchange, a simple offer, has led today, 3 years later, to peace and friendship between two nations which are supposed to be such a big enemies. So the technology in handing a key set the foundation for peace talk. And we supported it, directly involved in it, and we saw it through. And when it had problem in mid talks, I released the second message that Iran will come in with open, full transparency, with access to all the nuclear power sites in Iran. And within a week, the renegotiation started, and we see where we are today, that the peace is achieved. Because of this, now we are involved in the second peace talk round. Again, these two nations will be involved, are involved, and the other nations, which hopefully will lead to the next step of peace within the Middle East. We are negotiating now in exchange of science for peace in the Middle East. We put it directly on the table because hidden negotiations has hidden agendas, and we have no hidden agenda. And in that way, I again ask the leadership of the Israeli government, His Excellency the Prime Minister, to collaborate with the peace talks in respect to Iran and Israel, and the support we will receive through Vatican. This is important. We played open. So we managed to start a talk. Now the aim of the foundation is one thing. We establish Kesh Foundation, full technology, accessible to the nation of Israel. That there is no difference. At the same time, we have given a hand of peace in the peace conference in Rome to the Palestinian nation, which they will receive the first batch of their system in the coming days. We do the same. We send the same number of units into the nation of Israel, that we package the whole thing correct way. So as part of this week, being part of the 21st, 22nd of November, that is 2 days of peace, we start the peace negotiations in a direct way between the nations. These peace talks will take a lot of our time. It might slow down part of the research and teaching, but it's worth it because then we have more people to be at peace. That is the concept and principle of the teaching. My hand of peace goes to the Israeli Prime Minister and the Israeli nation. We invite you to Iran. The door of peace is open. It's you who can shut it, but we leave it open to your nation. I've been told I could play with my life if I announce this, but one life is worth at least peace between nations. So, officers of Mossad who are online, we advise you to accept the hand of peace from Iran and from Islamic nation, that we can step into the next level. The ambassadors at the highest level will contact you, and this was the hand of peace from Islamic nation to the Jewish nation. The American securities are very reserved. Should we have done this or should we have not done? But if we see on the table how two nations that have been at each other's throat for 30 years, now they sit and eat on the same table, there is a chance that the Islamic nations and Israel can come on the table of peace, that we don't see the replication of what happened in Paris. The actions in Paris or genocides in other countries comes from two nations not sitting on the table and accommodating each other, that the fallout leads to the present situation. I'm back in Rome tomorrow for further negotiations. We are negotiating at the highest level in different ways, and this needs the support of the whole Keshe Foundation family worldwide. Send email to the Israeli embassies, invite them for peace. Send email to the Iranian embassies, invite them for peace. And as a proof of it, take a picture of this, send it. It happened before, it can happen again. The problem is we don't have much time. If we do not achieve peace through collaboration between the nationals and their nation, we will not be able to achieve peace internationally, to make one nation, one race, one family. Today at 10 o'clock, we start the second steps of the peace talk. We have spent too much time and energy on doing the power units, doing the other things, trying to leave the station on for the others to have time to distract. But now we are again back focused on what we do, because that was another point we had to cover. We show you something very interesting. The people in Belgium, what we call the Red Circle people, with their entourage of about 25 people, they start threatening people, anybody who puts anything on the internet, that it could show the technology works. Or they start supporting it, that there's nothing there to discredit the technology. It's the same thing the same person in Belgium did for 10 years with us. We don't fight. What we've done, we show you a unit which is made. They can't access, they don't know who it is. And we show you the video. This technology is 100% correct. The people who make threat against Keshe Foundation supporters and the teachers or people trying to teach, we're going to release your names, your telephone numbers, your pictures, your home address, the name of your children on the internet. You call people who are developing a peaceful technology to threaten them, we leave you the world to decide. You will not be able to go out of your house to shop. Here in Germany, we have the size of your shoes. You're in Austria, you make threat against Keshe Foundation teachers, we put you on the front magazines of Austria. You are internet terrorists, and there is no room for you. You thought you can hide on the hidden names? Sandor, can we tell them that we're going to release it? Are you online? We have all your details. You threaten us, we don't fight you. We let yourself to be afraid even to go out of your house when you make a threat. We don't send you people the way you make threat to do. We don't call children on their mobile to threaten that you're going to kill them the way you did with with Alex's child. Now we publish your pictures. Not on the Keshe Foundation internet, on the World Wide Web internet. And when you get it, please replicate it and send it to the police stations, the area they live. Now the internal police knows who they are, where they live. We have all your details. You thought you could use proxy servers to hide? We even show you proxy servers. I was told we can discreetly cover your faces that you cannot be seen. If you hurt or you go to sabotage teaching and people to be free of all the pains of lack of energy for you to serve your purpose for your leaders, we put you across the internet. We publish your pictures with your name, your address, your children. You threaten Keshe Foundation supporters' children that you can get people silenced like Peter in Austria. We put your family, your grandfather, your grandmother, the whole family on the internet. We are not hurting you. We're just exposing you as the new terrorist. Terrorists don't bomb Paris. You terrorists threaten people. Now, those who made the threat to people, those who made the threat to Alex, watch your name and your pictures, go to the police, go on the internet, the whole of your country will know who you are. You make threats, now you have to be scared. We put your pictures on billboards in shopping centers. And we put your voices, you've been recorded. Your voices, when you made the threats, will be released too, that we are not lying. So, we push for the peace through correct conduct. You tried to frighten us, you tried to scare us, you bombed us, you shot us. We don't retaliate the way you've done the animal way. We'll let you and your soul to judge you, and you find your punishment in your own living home. We put the billboard of your name on the front of your house, in front of your community, that you cannot leave. You're another pedophile. But this time, you intrude in the privacy of the scientist. We don't stand too scared to run. So those who made the threat to Alex, those who made the threat to Peter, and the other people who put the perfect conduct of the technology to be producing energy, trying to discredit us, the way you did in Belgium for 10 years, making files falsified. Now we put your name, your telephone number, your lovers, everything. You got into our internet, we got into your computer. So you thought you're very clever. Be careful when your picture appears all over the internet within the next 7 days. And we patch you all, being the man in the red circle, being the woman in somewhere else. We have 25 names. They work together, they operate together, and now they go all together partying on the internet. So from now on, if you think you can make threats and carry on with the same thing, being the terrorist in Paris but on the internet, now you have to understand the way they were hunting for the terrorists in Brussels last week. They closed the whole city down. Now we close the whole internet on you. Have your meetings in the back toilets where you usually operate, and that's where you deserve. Vince, can you show us the video to show the technology is correct?
I think I have that lined up here, Mr. Keshe.
Go ahead.
That's the video, right, Vince, that you sent me?
Yes, please make sure the links and nothing can be shown where it is.
Okay, then I'll have to do a little differently. Just a second here. No, I wasn't able to download it from the drive, so I'll try to download it a different way. It'll take me a few minutes.
Okay, no problem. What you will see in this video is very simple. It's used in the house. It's not a setup that somebody made. Is connected to a fridge in the house, is connected to a heater in the fan in the house, is connected to the computer in the house, showing everything running at the same time. This is a real use of technology, and the meter is put there deliberately to show you it's not rotating. This is what you should achieve. We have found in manufacturing processes there are a very few little knickknacks that make some systems work and make some systems don't work. Even you all built it, but you don't see the result. We go through this in the next 2 or 3 days or early next week when I come back from Rome. We run another second day of blueprint that you understand where the problems are. Don't forget, we as humanity are developing the technology with each other, together. So we see a time for correction. You find where the mistake you made or the adjustment needs to be made, but you find out everything is exactly correct. But there are little things which need to put together. As I said this morning to our people, it's like baking a cake. We make a cake, we never take a measurement, Every time we cook in the house is a different kind, but we use the same material. But when you go to a factory or when you go to a supermarket, you buy a cake, every time tastes the same, looks the same, packaged the same, because everything is immaculately controlled. So now we try to bring this fine tuning that we all get the same result. And for this, as we brought the blueprint, we all need to learn where the fine tuning comes, that all the materials you made can be used. Some of you, if you made some system and it's not working, listen to the next workshop day we put on, what we call the correction day of the blueprint. Maybe next Tuesday, next Wednesday, next Thursday. But if you've made the system, you don't build it the way it should be, even we made a mistake in our manufacturing. So we are trying to rectify that this result is continuous. Yesterday, a number of car units left the factory. We're going to post the next batch. We are sending goods out in batches that we see if there is any problem, what we corrected, the problem is rectified. There is some delay with your product because we are trying to make sure we don't get it wrong. It's not that you're not going to receive it. First batch was sent out last week. We saw people complaining regarding the plug being all Italian. They can't do it in Germany. We have rectified it. It's actually been ordered, but it didn't get arrived on time. So it's been put in a different way. It'll be corrected. There is some fine tuning. We found out that in the teaching of this week, we explained how a lot of you made the coil, but you didn't make the what we call potential current difference in the plasma by connecting the two ends of your coils to a voltmeter, that you realign the plasma in your coating. A lot of you just made the coil, you nano-coated it, and you put it on the circuit. But what you forgot was when you nano-coat a coil, you have to realign the plasma of the nano layers. What this means is what we thought on Tuesday, if you missed it, is that this will create a lot of problem. If you made a coil and you had your connections of gravitational and magnetic, I'll put them different that you can see it. If this is your gravitational and this is your magnetical, you have to, every time you nano-coat any of your coils, take your voltmeter, put it at 200 millivolt, connect the red to this end, sorry, the black end of the voltmeter to this end, and the red end to this end. This realigns the nano coating that all your plasmas, which are built layer by layer, they all carry the same directional flow. This is important. Otherwise, what happens in your nano coating, you have plasma of the GaNs and the nano material, which are looking opposite to each other. They resist each other, then you have a problem. So this is one of the most important parts when the minute you take your coil out of the caustic, you have to realign it. It has to be done. This is something, even in the videos which Armand made, he explains it. You have to do it. And a lot of you have forgotten to do this. This will be one of your first point failure. We know now that when you do caustic coating, you get a lower performance than when you do gas heating coating. If you blow heat with a gas torch your coils, you get a much better performance than if you nano caustic coated it. They look at each other, these two being busy at it. Oh, I told you we got to gas it. These two lovers here in the teaching room, they, without talking, you learn a lot from them. How they come. I told you, you got to put a caustic. No, we did a caustic with it. But it still works. But you understand, it's beautiful to see you together. It brings a lot of joy in sharing the knowledge, but in a loving way, which is the foundation way. So what you need to know is that when you use the gas torch, we realize now, it gives you much better performance than when you do nano coating with caustics. It's a huge difference in performance. We are even now reconsidering to reset the whole manufacturing side away from caustic because the performance is huge. The other thing most of you would have found out is when you made your nano coating, when you make your gravitational coil, when you make your gravitational coil in the center, this is two coils inside each other, and then you make your magnetical coil. What we notice, which you have to find out, you've got to do it yourself, is the gap between these two dictates your performance very much. If there is a big gap between your nano, this is what we're even changing the design now, is this is your outer coil and this is your inner coil. There should be no gap. We made a mistake. We are very open. We make a mistake, we tell you. What we're trying to do in the next generation is to take this off. The closer these two touch, now what happens is that here you have a field which has, in a way, to reach another field. When you bring them close to each other, the two fields create their own infinity. So you boost your energy by up to 30 to 50%. So in fact, these two, the gap, if you can, when you make your coil, close the gap that they touch each other, your gravitational and magnetical, and follow the ratio which our research people have done. It's a beautiful way the way you explain it. Keep to a ratio of 9. Ratio of 9, it seems to be effective in this. What does ratio of 9 means? Ratio of 9 here is 180 turns. Yeah? 180 turns. That's 9, if you put the 0 away. Optimum number we see now for the outer core is 144, which is 9. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Our visitors from Hungary. Good morning. How are you? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you again. We met you in the Anna. Good morning. Please sit down. I remember you from Ninov. Yes. Please sit down. Please take place. We get visitors all the time from all over the world. So when you put your outer coil, 144 turn makes you 9. But you still keep your inner core at 81 turns. This, what it does with 144, please sit on that side of there because you sit in the line of camera. Just sit on that side, please. Yeah, because you stay out of the line of camera. If you have a bald head, you don't mind, it's okay. But otherwise, some people mind that. Non de Marco. So what happens is when you make it 144, which is 9, and when you make this 81, which is 9, now the second core comes to be sitting very much on the field matter next to each other. You reduce this and you keep the other one. So now what you have, in fact, is very much a coil like this. You've got two coils inside here, you've got two coils inside there, they are gravitational. Now, the same way as you had, this proximity dictates your efficiency, the power. This is a beautiful, if I would love to publish this from our, this, what do you call it, the research team. This comes from our innovation team, and we have a beautiful guy there who works, he understands, I was telling him today, he works the same as I do. He doesn't look at the mining, he looks at the fields. And tests are showing what it is. So try, even if you made a coil, try to open it to 140. All you need to do is just pull it. You don't need to destroy it. Just pull it to change it to 144 and then bring it together. It brings, if you made the 81 together. And this infinity loop gives you a higher performance. Don't forget, you are not competition to us. You are assets. When you, all of you make system with work, we say, yes. The red circle ones have to bury their own grave. So you understand what it is. We work as one team. You learn something, teach us. The innovation team, which is set up by Keshe Foundation, hopefully it'll be 20, 30 of them. Now there's about 4 or 5 of them. They increase to that number around the world. Whatever they learn, whatever we learn, we don't keep that we do manufacture first to show we are better. We share it with you immediately. We discovered this in past 24 or 48 hours. So today is a public teaching, teach you. So when you make your coils, these things are important. The Innovation Center of the Keshe Foundation belongs to you, not to us. And us is you. So in any way, we all support each other. You find something new, write it to the innovation. This is, if you do this, I see a better performance. Without GANs, the system doesn't work. So what you will see, if you had a problem, you couldn't get your field right, just get, if you made 188 turn, just pull it to become to 144. And then all you need to do, don't even clip it. Just at the end of your line, just leave it alone, let it be. Just use at this end turn instead of that end turn. This gives you a better performance. You can realign your system. Yes, you reduce your 180 to 144. The circle becomes closer to the 81 turn. So your gravitational magnetical is gravitational magnetical at the center, gravitational magnetical on the surface, and then the two gravitational magnetic field, they create a flow inside. This is what we see. It seems to be perfectly in line. And what we're trying to do, if we manage in the coming few days, maybe by next Tuesday or next Thursday, we are flying literally one of these units made in the research lab here, that you can physically see it. The beauty with it is, when you do this and you get your heating right, you show you that you see it in the pictures, is that the color here for all your gravitational stays very purple blue, and by the color of your inner ring, you can dictate or see yourself how powerful your system is going to be. If you make a fourth coating with the heating, you see the strength goes much more. I've seen this. We've been talking with the innovation guys for nearly 3, 4, 5 weeks. I've seen so many pictures of it sent to me. You see, with the color of the gravitational ring, you can say how strong your system is. You don't need to wait. If you want to make it stronger, if we coat it for the 5th time, 6th time, would it be there? Would it give you a stronger? And it seems to be that even the gravitational ring of the gravitational system center changes color. So in a way, you can see the color of the magnetic gravitational field plasma. Is the video ready, Rick?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, I've got that ready to play. Sure.
This is 5 minutes video. It's not made very immaculately the way you do it in Europe, that it should perfect. This is the way it's in the home, in the environment is used. So nothing been done to cover up or what do you call it, edit. This is a raw picture. And this is the way we thought. We spoke with Rick. We want to edit it. But this is what it is. This is what you do at home. This is how you use this system at home. Do you want to share a screen?
Okay, you see it there now?
Those who try to silence, now you look. It's important. Look at the motion of the disk. This is a meter. You see, it's still moving because it has a system. When the refrigerator kicks in, it moves a little bit to adjust itself. And then look, the disk stops. This is just because the refrigerator kicks in for a few seconds. It finds, but that's why we say don't switch off and switch on. Every time you switch off, it has to find a balance. Just have a look at the dots on the meter. This guy up here is a good reference. It still stays at 30.0, and look what happens to it. Just follow. It's 5 minutes. It's a beautiful picture, video, not set up on the plate to be perfect. It's how you will use it. It's a what do you call it? A normal current meter. You see, it gradually comes to a halt. Stop. This is what's going to happen to your meter. Meter stops. That's where you reach balance. But all the appliances are still in use. The appliances don't stop. Now we follow, as I said, this is 5 minutes. This is the structure. This is a meter which put in. You watch. This is the coil. It's a single coil. You can see the change in the color is slightly different. What we said to you before, that's a single plate, single coil, is used in the home. 3 appliances are connected to that. 1 appliance is going to the fridge. And you see the fridge is at maximum. Good morning. Yours. Put it down on that. You see, it shows the fridge is in operation in the background. It's still at the maximum. Amen. You're on the camera. So he goes back. You see the meter is totally on a standstill, is not moving at all, while everything is operational. This is a fan used in the house. It's a fan heater rotating. Why is it so slow? It's a very perfect video. Internet dialing, okay. And then that shows the current, the cable to the fan, exactly where it goes. And then now the third line. The third line is a normal DC plug. Appliances connected. Most probably you see this different than we do because you see that the normal motion. There are computers and lights connected to another plug. So the computer he shows is running. There are 2 computers running. AC, DC, operation of the fridge and everything else is in full control. It shows you the screen. The computer is full operational. So you see you're using a fridge. You're using a fan, which is a brush system. That shows the computer is on the plug. And you see everything is on. It goes back to the fridge to show the meter is still on the total standstill. It's not moving. He's running a fridge. He's running a fan. He's running his computers on 0 power from the grid. People say this is a filter. If anybody could create such a filter, let us show the filter can bring 0. And then you will see that again on the back, the fridge is still running And he's been using this for weeks in the house. And still on maximum, and you see the ice is still there. So technology is 100% correct. It's how the little things have to be brought together that it can be shown. You see the meter not moving. Total standstill. Zero current take from the grid. And this is a normal house in a normal urban household with the little appliances. We are not looking at 10 kilowatt, what do you call it, air conditioning system in Los Angeles or in Middle East. A normal house needs 1.6 to 2.2 kilowatt of energy per hour. And a fridge, computers, lighting, and the fan running normal. We can add more to it, it still be the same, zero. Thank you very much. So those who try to get these videos off the internet, for the people who achieve zero, will show you directly from here. Technology is without a doubt 100%. Is now, if you have a problem, is to retune, to understand the problems, what it is. We find out, we tell you, we see power, we sell you. Here on the table, I have put 2 of the units we produced in the factory in the past 2 weeks. I try to see the position of one MAGRAPH system in respect to the other. I move it around, I see it goes down, I put it up, I see it goes up, and we see how the energy balance changes by moving up a plasma. So if you noticed yesterday in teachings, and on Tuesday, I'll keep on going and checking the meter, because it was important for me to see if what we saw as a field coming from research was correct. That's why I said bring the other unit near the other. And then if you see now they are next to each other. This morning I put them on top of each other. Now we're exploring the proximity of the fields. We see when we move it, we go this morning, I go from, we started with 380 or 388, Marco? 380. Yeah. With moving it this morning, we came to 340. The system is nano coating, but the system has a correction to be done to it. The corrector system are getting flown to Barry at 1 o'clock today. We pick it up, we put 3 new setup up to see if the corrections is correct from the factory. Because of the position we are in, we don't wait for something to happen. We literally are flying systems across the world from different places to make sure everything is spot on. We don't wait for 2 weeks response. These units which are here, they were finished at 4 o'clock in the factory. They want to see if the new combination gives us a better result. We are the end testers. So if we see it, we go to the next step. And then we evolve. The flexibility of the factory at the moment is that between here, Philippines, and another place which we don't mention at the moment in production, for security reasons, we collaborate. Don't forget, everywhere we sit at 51%, and everywhere we sit as friends, not as directors. So we collaborate in a very open platform. Then please go back on your unit. If it's not working, check this. If it's like this, find the proximity. If you created a nano coating with the GaNs and you can't get the response you want, I'll give you a trick. You can still nano coat it with a gas. All you need to do, get your coils, get a torch, gas torch, heat it up very hot, and just dip it in a cold water. The nano layers which you created through GaNs just literally splashes out. Yes, Marco, it does. You heat it very high temperature, your copper coil, and then you dip it in a cold water. The nano layers just split up, they separate. Now you can nano coat through that, so you haven't wasted your system. Hot enough. We were going to show, we're going to post from the research center a video in the next day or 2 to show you how you can nano coat perfectly your coils. Just wait till we do it, and then we'll post it. It's getting done this morning in the Innovation Center. Then we show you how to do it. If you don't get the response you're waiting for, and if you get your nano layers wrong, you think there is something wrong, you haven't wasted time. This is so simple because you can go back to fundamental. Heat it, the copper goes in a copper color shining. At that point, you just dip it in the cold water, ice cold, it literally disintegrates. The layers come off. It should come off. You find a lot of nano layers. Yes, the first time you collected nano. That's how you produce nano layers or nano material. For keep those. Whatever you comes out of your wire, keep it. It's a gold dust. Because I show you next how to do it. The George Washington University scientists have shown you there's a possibility of making materials out of this thing. So now you have it, you can do it. This is how you make nanomaterials out of separation of its structure. So,
Mr. Kesh, people are asking whether to use the voltmeter after the fire-coated coil method.
pardon?
People are asking whether to use the voltmeter to put like 200 millivolts onto the coil.
Yes.
You still do it with the fire method. Okay, thank you.
Yes, you still have to. Every time you see the procedure, it'll come from Innovation Center. They will release this video. If they finish it today, the coil you see will be coated today in the Innovation Center. Is getting somehow flown here to Italy for us by Tuesday, Wednesday, that we can see it. Then you see the color differences, the gravitational coil being purple and the magnetical coil being black. So we go together through the whole process. Yes. You can do, it's a good idea. I never thought of it, but if you want against what Francois tells us, you got Francois is involved with the manufacturing production in Canada, Quebec, the French side. He's a Frenchman. And he is involved in the manufacturing of the system, the machinery, which produce the coil and the nano coating for industrial level. We already placed, we have a 51% shareholding in the company. So we have already placed the first 20 units order to the company. It's getting done by Jeff DuPont, and they have the facility. So what it says, can we, if you nano coated your material now, you want to get rid of it, can we just put it in the salt and take a nanomaterial as a GANS that we can use it? So you don't create nanomaterial, you use a GANS, you have a copper, then you can start again with the heat. It's a good idea. So easily use it that way. But this is the way we see it. Some of us reach 5, 10%. The reason you reach 5 or 10% because your coils are not efficient. You can increase. If you manage to reach reduction, 5%, 10%, it means the system works, but now you have to fine tune it. There's nothing wrong with it. So you have two choices. Even with your capacitors, you can fine tune your capacitors. Open them up, take it out, and do the same thing with them. But every time you nano coat, make sure by the time you finish nano coating, you directionalize the flow of the plasma. Most of you, this way, should increase your efficiency to more or less 70, 80%. So if you don't reach the efficiency you see 5 or 10% reduction, it means you're in the right track, but you haven't, it's a tuning system. Now you got to adjust it, you got to tune it. Nano coat, take off what we see, the gas boiling, what do you call it, gas burning of nano coating in this process is more effective. The nano coating by GaNs for the space reactors are more efficient. In this way, the gas is more efficient. We use the nano coating of electric current for production of the GaNs. We find it more efficient. Now we are learning the most efficient way for each structure. Are you happy now, Mr. Nano Coating, the master? Arman is sitting there. Says, oh my God, still there. Don't forget, the Keshe Foundation Ghana, Benjamin, has made a book of different type of nano coating. I don't know if it's been still put on the server or not, but as you know, Benjamin is the teacher for Ghana Space Institute. He works for the foundation, Ghana Space Institute, and this morning agreement has been made that we become officially part of the nuclear technology of the Ghana University and Ghana Energy System. He is a master in these kind of things. He's done literally 2-3 years work on these things, and he's written a manual how to nano coat and body nano coat in different types with a caustic, electric current, heating, and other ways you can see. So you can go through that process. So if you have problem, just adjust it. You need to tune it. This is very important. What is the time, please? Anybody got the time? 10 o'clock, 10 sharp. Okay. We go slightly offline, but it's a part of where I started the teaching or the discussion knowledge seekers today. We explained how the technology, the USB stick, was used to start the peace negotiation or lay the first stones. You need the microphone. For the peace talk. Even though at that time it looked, you can sit down. So what we are doing in the next step, if we manage to bring 2 of the nuclear powers in the world together, that they now eat on the same table and sleep in the same bed in the scientific way and the peace talks, we have asked, now that we found the cause of the problem in Belgium through the structure of the red circle in Antwerp, how the foundation was deceived to take actions which was not necessary, but we listened to the advisors which are advised by their own previous actions. I put a hand of peace to Americans on the table 3 years ago. Now we put the hand of peace within the nation of Belgium. We thank the Belgian community for supporting us for 10 years, but we apologize being deceived by one man in Antwerp. Handling, mixing emails to show what they're up to, what they're not up to, intercepting emails, which now we understand how they used to do it. I accidentally received an email which is going between them. They want to take over the foundation and meddling in it. And we receive it, we read it, it looks genuine, but in fact it was all forged. And we took action according to what the forged papers from Antwerp person came. As being an advisor, everybody believed it. We apologize for such an action because we relied on the deception of the agents. For this reason, I put a hand of peace to the Belgian nation. French, Flemish, Dutch. German speaking or a large community of Italian who live on the east of Belgium. They went in as miners 50 years ago, 100 years ago. For this reason, the Keshe Foundation Manufacturing will start the production of the Keshe Foundation power units, the health units in Belgium as of this week. Do you want to translate both in French and Flemish, please? What I said.
Bonjour tout le monde.
Closer.
Bonjour tout le monde en goedemorgen iedereen. Ik probeer van zo goed mogelijk te vertalen voor beide talen. Meneer Kesh die heeft stappen ondernomen om jullie duidelijk te maken wat er gebeurd is met ons in België. Monsieur Kesh, il a pris le cours pour expliquer qu'est-ce qui a passé en Belgique les derniers 10 ans. Je neemt de tijd om u uit te leggen wat er gebeurd is in de laatste 10 jaar. Wij bieden aan, of de Keshe Foundation biedt aan, dus om een structuur op te bouwen in België voor de Nederlandstalige mensen en voor de Franstalige mensen. En er is ook een grote community in België die in de tijd van de Menen naar België gekomen zijn van Italië. Ongelukkig genoeg, ik kan niet genoeg Italiaans spreken om u dat duidelijk te maken. Ik hoop dat de Italiaanse foundation dat zal vertalen voor jullie. U kunt alles vinden op onze Facebook-netwerk en de intercommunicatie met de chatgroups.
We put the hand of peace to both sides, the French and the Flemish speaking. If we manage to make peace between two nations, we can make peace between two different languages in one nation too.
Wij bieden de hand van vrede aan, zowel voor de Nederlandstaligen als de Franstaligen, als de Duitsstaligen in België. Als wij dat kunnen bereiken in één klein land, Nederlands sprekend, Duits sprekend en Franstalig sprekend, en de extra groep Italiaans sprekend, dan hebben we al veel bereikt.
Can you translate exactly what I say? Don't ask. What we are doing with the help of Willie de Leo, who's been the right hand of my work in Belgium for years, we have given him the right of signature from me on my behalf with Dr. Ivan Michel, with Wim on the Naturopathica and the others to set up the Cash Foundation Manufacturing Belgium with me, which goes back to the Cash Foundation, 51% shareholding, 49% shareholding by the people who set up and support manufacturing. You forgot how to translate?
No, too much.
Okay.
Willy de Leeuw, die onze rechterhand was in de medical, die heeft de autorisatie gekregen van meneer Cash. Monsieur Willy de Leeuw, qui a reçu l'autorisation de monsieur Cash de faire les signatures pour travailler avec monsieur Cash.
I think you better finish with the Flemish and do the French. Don't mix the two together.
Ok, on recommence.
Okay, carry on.
Meneer Willy de Leeuw heeft de signatuur gekregen van meneer Cash voor de verantwoordelijkheid
Of the factory.
van de manufacturing in België.
Dr. Ivan Michel,
Dr. Ivan Michel,
who used to be the Cash Foundation Center in Nino,
die de Cash Foundation Center in Ninove,
and Wim from the Naturopathica.
en Wim van
If you
de
can't translate, we give it to another
Naturopathica.
Flemish. Are there any Flemish you can translate online? You speak Flemish? Why do you put your hand up?
For the French.
For the French, okay. So you can translate for the French.
Okay.
Or do you need the two? Let her translate the French. We explained that to bring the nation of Belgium together,
Pour apporter des nations de Belgique
we bring
ensemble,
the Cash Foundation
on a apporté la fondation Cash
to be collaborating in the manufacturing of the technology together.
de façon à collaborer ensemble avec la manufacture.
We set up one factory for both nations.
On a seté une manufacture pour les deux nations.
The Cash Foundation, in my name, as usual, will carry 51% of the shares.
La fondation Cash, au nom de M. Cash, 51% des parts.
I thought you speak French all the time.
But,
It's amazing how you catch people. Huh? We need good translators. and the 49% which goes to the manufacturers.
Et 49% va pour le manufacturier.
You can all have a share in the Cash Foundation Belgium.
Nous pouvons tous avoir une part dans la fondation pour les parts de la fondation.
What we do separate in respect to Belgium
Nous
is
avons fait séparément dans la fondation en Belgique.
that Belgium is a nation of 10 million people.
La Belgique est une nation de 10 millions de personnes.
50% are young and old pensioners.
50% sont jeunes et de la génération de âge d'or.
Do you want to translate? Okay, I go. It's easier. My God, I married a Flemish, French speaking and not get nowhere. Okay, translate.
Okay.
But the difference is, we said Cash Foundation is one nation, one planet, one race. To make one race out of Belgium, irrespective of the separation up to now in Flemish and in French.
Wij hebben gezegd dat
French
French.
and Flemish.
On a expliqué que Cash Fondation est une nation, une famille et un paix. Wij hebben gezegd,
Is Dr. Michel online?
is
Ivan, are you
Ivan,
online?
bent u online?
He's good in translating fast. No, he's most probably sitting on the other side. Excuse me, can we have a silence, please? What we do, you can translate it afterwards to the French and the Flemish, if Caroline doesn't do it. The Cash Foundation in Belgium, manufacturing, will issue 10 million shares for every single Belgian national. We value the shares between 5 to 10 euro each. If you want the shares, we set up a website. You sign yourself to peace treaty and unification of Belgium. You can have the shares. And when we market, we open the shares in next couple of months, you can only sell your shares from the Flemish side to the French side. And if the French want to sell their shares, they can only sell it to Flemish. It gives you talking. Very simple. And if we see the tradition carries on, we increase the shareholding to double, which means those who initiate peace through unification of a nation through languages, you receive 2 shares. This is if you're a family of 5, you hold 50 shares, 50 euro shares, or 100 euro shares. You can sell these shares to the foundation against equipment, or you can keep it on annual interest, you collect income. So now we start this in Belgium. We share the foundation assets amongst the nation. It might be 50 euro a year profit, it might be 100 euro, but if it is 5 people in one house, it's 500 euro income addition. There is exclusion. The exclusion from this, any family which works in defense technology of Belgium is not allowed to participate. We will not give shares to encourage more arms. Understanding that 40% of the Belgium national turnover is based on military defense technology. Because we don't want to bring the hand of blood in the foundation. On the form, we put your name, your affiliation, if your husband or you work in the defense technology, And those shares which are not claimed by a given time will be given to those who don't work in the arms or defense industry. So in a way, the way we look at it, each family becomes €1,000 shareholders in the structure of the country. This way, we unite the nation, hopefully, and this way, we discourage from our manufacturing. Those who change job from military to civilian and working with the Cash Foundation, we give them double shares, which means you get 2,000–3,000 income per year. Congo has been a weak point for the Belgians, been abused. Then the Belgian nation as a whole, the French and the Belgian, speaking Dutch or Flemish, we work with you to put back in Congo what has been taken out of them unjustly by the shareholding of the 51% of the Cash Foundation in the process. So now the Cash Foundation Belgium is owned by the Belgians for the benefit of the Belgians. Very simple. Every single person born in Belgium, unless they want to exclude themselves, are the shareholders in the Cash Foundation manufacturing from the day it's set up, which I think is good. You share in income, it gives you additional income. You have to sign yourself to peace, and if you are a man of military or defense, it's very easy. We can check the statistics where you work. You can't sign in for peace when you're working for Ministry of Defense. Armed forces are not excluded. Police, Secret Service are not excluded. The beauty of the whole thing is, nowadays everything is so transparent, we can find everything out about everybody. So if you are in hand grenade manufacturing, which is one of the big jobs in Belgium, unfortunately, you're excluded. There's nothing wrong with it. It's the way you have to feed your life, your child, your family, but does not fit into the ethos of the Cash Foundation. We release all the name of the shareholders on a public list. These are the people. And if you find somebody who's in the defense and is signed in, he's not, the shares are yours. You don't need to spy on each other, but to be correct. So from today, every Belgian receives more or less 2 shares. We value the shares around about €20, 10 to 20 euro, because we have a production, we know what the income is going to be. Instead of sharing it and then sending it to Africa, we need to unite the nation of Belgium together first. It'll be very hard. I lived there for 10 years. I know the division right down through the blood. Maybe it's time to change the blood to one. After this, in the next couple of weeks, we have a second test trial. It's Bulgaria. The Cash Foundation Bulgaria Manufacturing will share shares to every single Bulgarian. We have a Cash Foundation based Bulgaria. When we set it up, outside non-voting shares, we issue again. There are 7 million Bulgarians. We issue 14 million shares to every farmer, man, and the others. Defense is not so big in Bulgaria, but it allows that the poor to have. At the same time, you don't need to claim. We still give you the systems free, but you share the profit. Each nation will start supporting each other, and the cross-nation, to make one nation, one planet, will start between Belgium and Congo. The smallest nation on this planet, controlling the biggest land mass in Africa as a colony. Now you help your colony to come out the way you help to bring them down. It's not a shame. It's the way it was. Now it is not. So we work together. We have a very good high-level influence within the Congo government. We use it to encourage teaching of the Belgians to the Congolese how to make their system. Teaching, showing how the Belgians can help Congo to make nanomaterials, to make systems for energy and health. maybe we can send the red circle back to where he was born. And then the problem starts there. At least we'll find a use for him. Even though he has never made a nanomaterial in his life. You got to understand, we start structuring that we share everything and anything which goes with production of new technology development. We have opened the base in Congo, we have, in Ghana, we have opened the base in Nigeria. The other nations soon will have their own bases, centers. Now, to make it one nation, Belgians have a good connection with Congo. We pay you to go to Congo as teachers to teach the technology. If you are Flemish speaking, French speaking, you can contact the teaching team. You want to go to Congo, we pay you as teachers. The salary is fixed at €2,500 per month, which is a standard for the teachers. And you can have a comfortable time, but you teach the Congolese how to get themselves out of the whole situation. You don't need to send units to them. You give them the knowledge. You don't need to give them a fish. You teach them how to fish. So any Belgians who would like to go to Congo to teach, and a lot of you have done it because the roots of the Keshe Foundation sits in Belgium. A lot of you have made systems. You want to go for 2 weeks to teach and come back, we finance you. You want to go for a month, we finance you. You don't need to leave your family to put them through pain. You go on a holiday, but teaching holiday, we pay for it. All it is, the shares from €10 profit this month will be €8 because you spend the other €2 on expenses. So we start the process of one nation, one planet from the home of the foundation, which is Belgium. It started. And for this process, the Keshe Foundation will finance most of the manufacturing. That we don't wait for somebody to come to finance. Somebody will be entrepreneur to do it. We have trusted people in Belgium. We trust them with our lives. We did, and they supported us, except one, and the team which supports him and finances him. The rest of the Belgium, they are part of the brotherhood and the family of the Keshe Foundation. So my message to you Belgians is very simple. You supported us. Now you can see the benefit of it. Systems still will be given free to those who need it. Systems still will be given free to those who are old or cannot support. We will set up a health system support in Belgium to freely give technology to support health people. We have Wim in the Natapathica who can help us to do this, to reach people, the doctors, the teachings, the equipments, what they manufacture in Belgium, to reach the poor who cannot afford it, or the people who for a long time cannot get out of illness. So it's for you to set up the structure. Belgium has its own registered Keshe Foundation as a charity for past 4 or 5 years. We don't need to set up. I had the Keshe Foundation in Belgium. Caroline is the second person. And in time, we hand over this to the structure of the Keshe Foundation International as a foundation. So my hand of peace and to both sides of the French and the Flemish is, you helped us, now we try to help the nation. Even the King of Belgium, welcome, if he's not in defense technology and doesn't get commission on selling arms. We still apply for 2 shares. So in the structure, please go in press, in public, and the shares has to be claimed against peace and unity of nation for the finances. You're Moroccan, you're Flemish, you're French, you're of different nationalities in Belgium, you're still part of one nation, one planet. the manhunt according to the race and the religion has to come to an end. And we put a lot of pressure and time to achieve this. One of the first things I hope we can manufacture in Belgium will be the medical equipment. The medical system, the pen, will be manufactured by the Belgians, for the Belgians, and at the same time to be taken through Congo. We make sure, in the case of Belgium, everything stays within for the time being, that we can see the unity, and we use the Keshe Foundation. One race, one planet, one nation, even if it means we have to billboard it across Belgium. Now that we have the television channel in our hand, hopefully we'll sign tomorrow, and we have the satellite 2 channels coming in operation in May, June, we have the facility to promote peace the way we want. We don't rely on the banks or the financiers. Foundation has its own income to develop and produce, and we'll start linking with other universities and institutes. We will go back to Ghent University for collaboration we had with them openly, that people with the red circle in Belgium cannot pressurize the way they did the professors in the universities, not to collaborate. We expose everyone who tries to stop the process of the Belgium benefited by the technology. 5 or 6 people put the Keshe Foundation on the red map. Now they go on the red circle themselves. One exclusion, as I said, if you are part of military, part of the armed forces, you are still inside this with collaboration with us, because for time being you're needed. In time you'll understand how we'll ask you to support us for peace and for elevation of the peace across Belgium. If you're in defense technology, making arms, even if you're a doorkeeper at armed defense, you're excluded. We start putting so much profit back into Belgium that people, by losing income, will leave their job, because it'll be better to be with the Keshe Foundation than to be with the arm manufacturer. Don't forget, Keshe Foundation goes into a space program, into agriculture, into materials, and everything else. So my peace message is one thing. We started with the biggest nations on earth. Now we go to the smallest. We went to the government. Now we go to the people. The structure will be set up by our webmasters in coming days, coming weeks. Now, by the time the manufacturing is set up, unvoted shares, 1 share to each national, will be there. Some will try to abuse it. But the thing is, the only thing you can sell it is to find a guy who's your enemy, or you consider as your enemy. Flemish only can sell to the French, and the French can only sell to Flemish. If you're a Muslim, you cannot sell your shirt to another Muslim. You have to find a Flemish guy you love to do it. If you're a Flemish and you don't want to sell it to a French, you've got to go to a Moroccan or an Arab-speaking guy. This way, the integration of the races will become integration of the nation. Let's talk. We'll find out we all have the same thing in common, and those who try to make a separation, they have a benefit for their pockets. Why shouldn't the dividend of peace come to every nation, every house in Belgium? So my hand of peace to the nation in Belgium is very simple. You helped us to get the Keshe Foundation to where it is. We are putting back the benefit of your help. We finance every single cent for production and manufacturing if need be. And if we find financial collaborators, manufacturing collaborators, we allow them to participate. For what we finance, we take more share on the other side of 49%, and we make it more available to public. So if nobody takes shares on the 49% rate for us to do the full financing, then 49% goes to public. So in fact, you get more shares and more profit. Once we achieve this in the next couple of months, we go to the nation of Bulgaria, and then we start intercontinental interaction within the next 6 months. We gave the governments to start peace. They don't want to do it because it's too profitable. Now we make nobody to work in the defense technology that they have no arms to sell. So we still achieve the same thing, but through benefit of what we call technology for peace. Do you agree? You've got the biggest job on your hand. You're in American. You try to sell American defense technology, doesn't work. Doesn't matter. So I hope and I wish I could speak both languages, but I don't, even though I lived there for 10 years. It's not my fault. It is my fault. Never bothered to do it because everybody speaks English where we live. But we are investing back in what you invested in us. We go public. We announce it on every possible way. That is your right to own a share in what the other Belgians help to harvest. Time is yours. They sowed the seed. They supported us. I thank Willie. I thank Dr. Yvonne Michel. People like Luc, French Flemish side, people like Esfan in setting up the original websites, and the others. Peter in setting up, being instrumental in a lot of protection for us while we were there in all the conferences. There are very few people. And then we extend this to the other side of the border, maybe to Holland. Holland is the home of the Keshe Foundation. And in Holland, we can achieve a lot. I have a lot of respect for Dutch. Maybe it's because my blood comes from the Dutch side through Philips International, where I first introduced to X-rays and X-ray machines and nuclear industry. We have a very good friend, Richard, in Holland, and maybe the next step in North will be Dutch, and then we extend to the other countries. As I said, we gave them a chance for peace. 4 months we waited, now we go our way. And we do it our way by encouraging people not to work or participate in making defense technology, where we show you alternative. We have come to agreement with Sofia University to start development of the space control systems. We offer universities degrees to do PhDs, to bring the technology and the space technology forward. So part of the income of the Keshe Foundation will go to universities for PhDs and high degrees for assessment, development of the space technology in Belgium universities too. So we start the collaboration. It's all headed by a couple of professors who will bring the Keshe Foundation as part of the European teaching in the universities on the space technology. And we start the first group of students in January here, and then we'll see where we go. But I usually give everybody a chance. It's them who can fail themselves, and the nations and the world leaders fail themselves in trying to bring the 2 days peace. Now we dismantle the peace by creating new jobs that the peace is not worth working in, as they call it, defense technology. We pay high wages, and we look after people the way it should be. They'll consider, would I like to be in this business or not? We will approach the industries who head these companies to change. They'll be part of the Keshe Foundation teaching group. Will not be just to be in the factories, but there'll be people who approach the companies at the highest level, technological, to explore, to explain to them, there is a new technology, you have time to change. We have started this already in Italy. 2, 3 major companies, we have already sat on the table. They understand the benefit of the plasma technology and nanotechnology is much better than making other things. So this is the reason from next term, I'll be teaching only 1 day. The other 4 days spent on peace and space technology teaching. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. There are certainly some questions regarding nano coding and that kind of thing. I was wondering if anybody had any questions first about what you're just talking about. If there's anyone.
We'll set up a link for the Belgians to put any questions they have or they want to be part of the technology. Vince will set up a link before end of today. The link will be there. It'll be handled by the Belgium, will be operated by the Belgians. We can go on the top groups of the foundation and help each other to set up, see if you can have a job, how you can have a job, what you can do in the new factory. If you have no employment and you know the nano coating, be there. You got to understand, we used to have a lot of people who used to, in Belgium, put nanotechnology on the interface, on the Facebook, and they used to be very active. They got intimidated by the red circles in Antwerp. We know how they done it, and by the crook federal police in Kortrijk. They intimidated them that we are a terrorist, they'll be sued. They literally took them to police station, one by one, intimidation by the one policeman. It's all been dossier documented and it's with the police. So if you are those people, you can come out. You are not criminals, but you're made to be criminals because the criminals carry on their work. So if you are in that group, especially in Zevenham, you know who I'm talking to, especially in West Flanders, we need you as teachers and the people who can teach in the factory teaching and even in other places to help to support. Are there any questions?
Okay. For example, does the what you say about for the Belgians and the shares and so on, does that also apply to Belgians not living in Belgium anymore?
No. Armand is shaking his head very rapidly. No.
Okay.
I don't decide. He's a director in the foundation, so he made the decision before I opened my mouth.
Not for everyone worldwide, just for
Not
those.
ever. Even Caroline, who doesn't live in Belgium, is excluded.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Even though she's a director of the Cash Foundation in Belgium.
She may have to move back to get the benefits.
No, we don't want to be poisoned again by the red circle.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you very much.
There's someone asked, does someone know the Belgium Cash Foundation contact address? But again, I would tend to direct them to the Cash Foundation website and to
I think once, if you set up very rapidly a link and let them have it where they can go to, at least a point of reference to Wim and the others in Belgium set up their own structure on the Cash Foundation website.
maybe that can be done through the support.
Support. Go back to the Cash Foundation website by Monday. Hopefully, is that good enough, Vince? Yeah, if you go on the Cash Foundation support website, look for the Belgium link, and then collaborate together to bring it together. Set up a meeting, even if it's possible, in the old place of the Foundation in Nino. If Dr. Ivan Michel has a facility still there to support, meet, organize, and we follow the majority. We follow not the majority, but those who want to benefit the nation. There are factories available. We know there are support by different groups. We are prepared to listen, and decisions made by the Belgians on the ground. We just support that decision.
Mr. Kesh, I talked to Wim a few days ago about getting a link or contact information for the foundation there, and I'm just waiting for information from him so I can put the link up on the support site.
Thank you very much. Wim is responsible for the Cash Foundation. Sorry, Brad is responsible for Cash Foundation worldwide. So anything you need to do, you go to the support of the Cash Foundation for foundations, and Brett will put you right where you have to be. We will release documents for setting up the Cash Foundation and Cash Foundation manufacturing on the website within the next couple of days, we hope, once our German guys and the lawyers finish writing everything in a correct way. We become a very international structure. somebody somewhere in one country or another is doing part of the work. What do you call it? Eric and his team in Germany are setting up the legal documents, which is in the German language, is very solid. And then that becomes the basis for most of the Keshe Foundations worldwide. We have incorporated part of the American Keshe Foundation mandate, which Arman has written, where we set up the Keshe Foundation US, that it gives benefit in every direction, allows other people to own shares, that it gives us the flexibility of what we're trying to do in Belgium. And the Keshe Foundation manufacturing, there is a problem in some nations. You cannot be a foundation and manufacture. So we've made it to KF manufacturers. So we register as a KF manufacturer and a Keshe Foundation manufacturing, that the term of foundation does not come into manufacturing. So we carry the same logo, but as part of the same structure. Any other question? It's very interesting. The legal part is done by the Germans. The foundation is looked after by an American. The research is done in Philippines. You have a bunch of others, Canadians we call them. We don't know who they are. They run our website. We have the French, which are producing the manufacturing side. We have the Iranians who are producing the raw material for the foundation in coming time. And it's become a really beautiful collaboration.
In that same sense, Mr. Kesh, maybe I could run through on the Blueprint site the people's individual contributions. They're from all over the world. I'd like to maybe just run through quickly and just to show the diversity that where these come from. Maybe I can do that if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Okay, we've got, we start from the beginning here. Just get my screen zeroed in for live stream here. Get it set up a little better, make it bigger. Okay, we could start out, we have Shandor showing how to wind coils, and he's got a system going. It's in Budapest, Hungary. Then we go to a system from Ali from Dazov in Vancouver, Canada, and we've seen some of his work before. We've got someone else here, Le Fab Lab de Jarry from Guadeloupe, French West Indies, and he's got a bunch of pictures showing his setup and how he makes the coils and whatnot. And then we have a contribution from Peter in Austria. I think you've mentioned some issues there.
Yes, there is an issue with Peter. He has received a threat by the people who was orchestrated by Red Circle in Antwerp and the people in Germany. The recording of the threat, we've been told, has been made, but we'll release the picture of the guy who's made the threat. Everybody can know him. It won't be on our website, so we cannot be damaged. But once it's released, please spread it across internet. Let everybody know. Let me explain to you something. This is the beauty of the working this way. We all knew what we call Gaddafi. As long as he was sitting in a palace, nobody could touch him. He killed as many as he could. But when people start touching him, he hid and he went and he hid in a pipe. His kingdom from a palace became to a pipe, and that's how he was killed, in a pipe. They got him in a literally a hose pipe, as you call it. He could get in it. He was hoping he can carry on. When he was in power, he never understood that there would be a day of judgment. And when they got him, he wouldn't come out of the pipe. The way he was killed, he was literally done by a knife of a soldier into his anus. They put it in and they turned it, he died, they could pull him out. He died the most horrific way a man could die. When they sit behind these computers and they think they can make threats, they don't know they made themselves a target. That we don't pull a knife. We show your face. You pull the knife on yourself to shut your computers down. It's your children and your wife and the family will batter you to bits. They know the real face of you, not a kind father, but a terrorist on the internet. So we don't rely on anybody to be killed, but we show your hand who you are. We send the emails to your employees. Whoever you employs you or whoever you employ, they know the real face of you. We make life so beautiful for you that you decide to change. We release the name of the family of the red circle on the internet, where they live, who they are, do they know what the father is up to, and to where the children work, that they understand this has to stop. They thought they can go and hijack the Keshe Foundation websites and write whatever they like. We let everybody know how they think, because what they've written cannot be written. We let the children know, we let the family know, they let the grandchildren know. We let the school of the grandchildren to know. We have enough connection, good people, that we kill the animosity from the root. Those who in Germany, Austria, put servers across another nations, we leave to your every flat house you live with your telephone numbers, where you work. You thought you have a power to make a threat against a 9-year-old child in England? No problem. Now you have to tell your 9-year-old child or grandchild, I'm such a devious man. How are you going to justify it? The suggestion is, we put a billboard everywhere, wanted. We don't want you. You want yourself not to be on the net. When we publish these on the free internet, please use it and send it to every child and their family around them. They know. We expose pedophiles, we have to expose internet terrorists. I wonder if in Antwerp they would like to have such a tourist in the tower. So we don't do it. It's the job of you Belgians to do it to the ones who've done to us. The ones in Kortrijk, sitting as the office of the police officer. And we do not finance we don't waste time. We just expose is your job. The ones in Germany. We have all your fake names and real names, your telephone numbers and where you work and the name of your wife, your mistresses, everything. You broke into our system, you thought, we break in yours in a deeper way. We let you judge yourself. We don't judge you, we just expose you.
I think I just fixed that. I had a problem here with the audio. I think it's okay now.
I think you have to redo the audio. Maybe Rick didn't want anybody to hear this part. Which part was I silenced, Rick?
Well, it was just over the last part there. Yes, that's right, Mr. Kesh. It was over the last part there, but I think part of it came through, but it was very quiet because it came through my microphone instead of through the other system.
Yeah. So what we
happened
said
there.
for those who missed on the live stream, those who make threat against us and made threat against Peter, those who went to the Spanish team and made us a saint, we show who is the saint, who is the Satan, who is the dark force. Those who accept people to come to them and then say he's a black man, we want to show how black is. The black is the one who creates job, brings prosperity, then it shows who's been trying to do the wrong job. We gave you love and care. The only thing is, you shot yourself in the foot, not us. So those on the internet who've been threatening people like Peter did with Alex's daughter, we now release your name, your telephone numbers, your pictures, and as you find it, more about them, put more on the internet. We make life so beautiful for them that they will not make any more bad comments, but they make bad comments about themselves. If you see the name of the German guy, or a couple of German guys, and you see the Austrian guy, and you know the face, put more detail who they work with, who is their lover, who's the mistress who nobody knows. Let's look at their faces. Let them judge themselves. And we put a very simple, we call them internet terrorists. But they're terrorists against themselves, not us. So in the coming days, we will release the names and the pictures and the telephone number and the home addresses. And then you add into the profile. We don't waste time. They wasted their time making such a thing. Such a beautiful teacher like Peter, receiving threatened calls and emails because they broke. Let me explain to you how they work. They go on your Skype. They enter through your Skype into your computer. They read all your computer communications. And then they think they find a weak point. They find a telephone number. And then they call the number or send an email and they make these threats. That's so cheap. That's all they do. If a lot of you had a problem with your Skype, it means they're sitting in, they're taking information, they try to find your weakness, they make a threat on your weaker point, your child, your son, your mistress, and then you think they know it. They know nothing. They're just a bunch of hackers. Now they've been hacked. We know who they are. And we explain to you how they think they have a power, but the power is on the keyboard. And the place they are like Gaddafi in a rat hole. So, boys, thank you very much for showing the one who was solid to the gaze with us. We stand by them. We don't let them down just because they came to teach and you made a threat. And all the communications somehow ends up in Belgium. Now you understand how the technology was silenced by one bunch of what we call scientific terrorists. Okay, we go into the teaching. In the part of teaching, in the last week, if you were with us on Tuesday afternoon, we opened a new dimension into the knowledge of the plasma technology. Now that with what's on the screen, you can see we corrected how to tune and adjust your system. You come to produce huge amount of plasma. Oh, Arman, you put it there. This is supposed to be a surprise. I'll bring this in the middle. We'll do in time. No problem. It's good enough. You're a master. You know what you're doing. I'm just a presenter. If you want to show it, you're quite welcome. When you look at these power units, when you made these power units, up to now, you looked for plugging into the main to encourage the transfer of the plasma energy and convert or add to your power supply on what I call a hybrid electric current. The hybrid electric current the first part of hybrid comes from your main grid, where it comes from the national grid. And now that you are used to a hybrid car, like a fuel with electric engine, fuel with gas, now for the first time we see hybrid power units, which is what comes through the main grid is added by another supply. This supply is the plasma power in a gravitational magnetic field, as we explained here. This is where it comes. This is not a free energy system. That's why we call it magra power. Magnetic gravitational field releases which become power to your system. That's all it is. You haven't got a free energy. We are not in a free energy 1 plus or 100 plus 1 to become free. We have added another source of energy, which is a plasma, into your system. So what happens is that when the energy from the plug comes to you from your grid, which is partially becomes your supplier for a beginning, but then the sinusoidal triggers the plasma to release its energy, is the initiator. The sinusoidal wave is initiator. If any of you have a scientific background that you can come in with us into the innovation side to be able to produce sinusoidal power supply which can oscillate at 50 hertz using plasma, not matter, please contact me directly through Webmaster. I'll bring you into innovation team to help us to complete the generator part. We have already know how to do it. We have set up the initial system, but we need experts who understand the electrical side. The problem is to create a minimum 12 volt DC, which we can do. Excuse me. With plasmatic inverters to create oscillation. We already have the oscillation circuits. We can create it. Is to enhance it, but keep it within the plasma condition. If you understand what I spoke and it's all gibberish to the others, those who understand and can do, get in touch through Webmaster with me. We can put in innovation because we can do a lot of things with it. So what happens is the energy which comes from the grid into the box, it is the initiator of the release of plasma by the GaNs and nano layers, which is built inside the system, in the coils you made. Now, up to now, as we discussed in the teaching of Tuesday, please go back on the Chinese and the health teachings of last Tuesday, because a lot or little was explained, but you understand where we're going. It's important. Yeah, last Tuesday, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, on the 23rd, I think, am I correct? 24th of November. We extended the Chinese teaching into the health as one set because it was about this what we're going to talk about. Because from this moment on, as we explained in the teaching, and we don't refer to it because now we're going the standard way of teaching, is that you initiated plasma releasing its energy, and then what we've done, we have connected another matter state. We came in through the matter state, through your plasma, through your plug. We added another matter state after we created the plasma, and we're trying to get the plasma by nano-coating the wires. What we're doing from today on, we are doing away with this. Why do we bring a matter state into creating a plasma which is more powerful to change it back into matter state that you can use in electric products in your house? So what I asked and what I explained is these plasma magra powers should be used if you're doing it this way, where, oh, he's made the extra hole. Very good. You like to making holes like me. When I was in Iran, they told me every reactor you make so many holes in it. You missed a hole, so you start making a hole there. I think it's inherited. So what happened, instead of going into the wire cable in the matter state, now at the outset, we, instead of connecting to a wire matter state, we connect to nano-coated wires. So now you transfer the energy which you produce in the plasma in a plasmatic condition. Then with the systems which are producing, you can connect producing food from the plasma. We taught partially on teachings of Tuesday. Please go and listen. You can produce matter, creating condition of the plasma. So in the new setups, in the coming time, you can ask for a MAGRAPH matter power supply, or you want a MAGRAPH nano supply, plasmatic supply. We split it because those of you who start developing systems which works on the plasma, you don't need to convert like the new resistors, new heating systems. You don't need to go from matter to create more energy and put it back in the matter. You directly use the plasma energy. So in the coming time, we offer you two power supply systems. One, which is matter state, one, which is a plasma state. And in the coming time, we will teach you what we said, what is the next step. Wireless power energy. Very much like you have a power towers, aerials, what do you call it, receivers. We connect these systems to a power plasma distribution, which becomes wireless. This is part of the next step of development. What we told you will be like a telephone's wireless telephone. Now we release plasmatic, very much like the sun. You're not doing anybody says, oh, it's going to hurt us. What's the physical damage to it? If this is damageable at a copper level, so sun has already killed you. You're not alive. You're just in an imaginary body. So this step is the next step. Instead of using matter state connection, we still provide the matter state connection. But those of you who are evolving and evaluating and releasing energies and technologies in parallel with us, start looking in developing plasma systems. You don't need to use matter state. It's more powerful, it's totally pollutionless, and it does not do anything which is not supposed to. So in a way, instead of going to the matter state, you create another sun. And the condition you produce at end of the sun, if it's a condition of the earth, you create nitrogen. If it's a condition of the Saturn, you create helium. If you want orange, you can create orange property of the plasma without eating plasma of the orange itself physically. So what I ask you, now that we open a real plasma technology, now that we have managed, and all of you can do in your kitchen, to create these nano layers, is to start developing systems. Still have in mind, don't go back into the matter state. If you have a matter state converted to nano-coated or plasma condition, and use the property of it to enhance the work. I tell you what we are doing at the moment. We are using this process to produce plasma heaters. One of the biggest breakthrough for us, we are nearly there, we see it happening. The innovation team will work on it more in the coming days. We've seen a breakthrough. We have created a condition where you can't even hold the battery in your hand from the heat. So now, more or less, we understood where the problem is. I tell you what the problem is. It's so stupid. There is no problem. We didn't see the beauty of the system the way it should be. If you understand this, the problem is this. You have bought yourself the first power unit. We told you you can buy a second power unit as a cascade, which could be here. You put one by the meter, you put one in the furthest point in the house. Remember what we shown, and it was shown originally with the systems from Alex, where when we showed this meter, you're taking 1 watt out, but you're putting 4 out. You're taking 1 out of the phase of the system from the grid, but you're putting 4 back in the grid. You're taking very little, you're putting more power out. This putting power out in an electrical current technology known as eddy current, the reverse current. So what happened, this is your gravitational field, which is always stronger. That's why it multiplies by 4. And what you take out, which comes to run your heater or whatever, is your magnetical. That's why you could not see the difference. In a technical electric system, we call it eddy current. Professor Meyer calls it scale wave. Tesla calls it other thing. But one is, the other one true. But when it comes to plasma, because now you have a free condition, gravitational is always bigger than magnetical. Now we have shown it is 4 to 6 times more powerful. That's why you have the mass. If you read the book number 1, explains to you. So now you understand why you're putting more into the grid, more out of the system, in the same as you're taking in. So if you understood this, if this is your grid, this is your first unit, this is your second unit, this is here to your 1 kilowatt heater, you're actually putting out from the input of your second unit into the first unit 4 kilowatts. But you have to remember, the system has a big flow in it. The big flow is that here you are connected to this heater. You're still coming in at 1 kilowatt. The clash or the exchange between the 1 and a 4 is 3 kilowatt of energy, which has to be absorbed somewhere. And if you put a plasma heater, a plasma capacitor, which can convert heat here, you have solved the heating problem. The gradient, Marco's favorite word, is from 4 kilowatt to 1 kilowatt. So in trying to find balance within a capacitor which can produce, creates heating. It creates the oscillation and the vibration too. But everything has to be in a plasmatic condition. Everything has to be in a plasmatic level. So if you nano coat all your system, most probably somewhere here you have 30 to 50 kilowatts of energy in a plasmatic level in respect to the current level of electric current charges. So in cascading, you produce huge amount of energy which can be used. We are testing this. Hopefully we can confirm to you within the next couple of weeks how it's done and the way it can be done. Then you can produce your own heaters. Because we had to look into this, because when you put AC heaters, you create different kind of problem. This way you create a plasmatic DC heaters, which works with the plasma. You can control the heating in a non-conventional way, because in a conventional way, you adjust the thing here, you adjust the heating. Here, you adjust the heater from here to adjust the heating there. Because if you change to this to half a kilowatt, here you have 1.5 kilowatts of heating. You need to put a very small resistance, like a piece of copper wire, which is nano-coated, or a normal copper wire, which will get nano-coated, and use it like a brush, up and down, no more, what do you call it, adjustment systems. So do we need to put such a tower unit, or do we create a very small system which sits just before your heater and you can create huge amount of energy directly in the system? So now you see the first plasma equipment are coming out, and you can make it yourself. It should not cost you more than more than $2. The only thing when you produce them, when you test them, is beware that the gauge of your unit is less than this one, because the thickness of the wire dictates the strength of the plasma. Bigger circle, because you don't look if it's this your wire like this, you don't look at the circumference of the wire, you look at the field which the wire makes. This is a difference. So if you are working to develop, or if you can please start looking in using plasma to plasma without the conversion to matter state, you see the first, what they call plasmatic heating system, which is the biggest use for cooking, for heating, for the water is needed. Even though this is an interim situation. Because once you go through this, then I will teach you how to use these wires to literally transfer the energy for boiling of the water wireless in the water, not to use an equipment to use. Don't forget the water itself is a matter state and itself is a plasma. You have to find out its field strength and send it a stronger field, which is in line in gravitational magnetical field with it. In trying to absorb the other one, it releases energy, it boils itself. This is how the boiling of the surface of the sun is done. The temperature on the surface of the sun, there is no heating element boiling it. The gradient between the field strength of the plasma, which creates the heating. If you want to use elements to heat, you can do. If you want to jump a step further, but understanding it, use the plasma from your system to receive it, test it, and teach us that we can start building wireless plasmatic heating system. Would this boil the water in your body? No. The body has a totally different temperature, different magnetic field strength. But if you find the adjustment for it in a correct way, you can feel warm anywhere you are in the house without heating anything up. You can make heaters which adjust to you. The house can be minus 40 degrees, but you're comfortable 20 degrees, like our Canadian friend. Would you like to stand up? The people see how you come. We are shivering here. We come with the jackets and the coats, and he walked. Yeah, but you want to see him? He's in shorts and short sleeve, and he bikes all the way in the rain. It's warm here. And I always say to him, every time I come, it's like a sunshine. I wonder, I presume summer teaching after February, March, he'll come in with a swimming trunk. It's too hot. If he turns up in the middle of the winter in the shorts, God help us with the rest of it. This is very much, it becomes like an Islamic nation. You know, Islamic nations where they force women to wear coats to hide themselves, they all wear bikini underneath. Pardon? What? Okay. Belgium has received their first car unit, they just confirmed. So we are putting things out, but we are doing in a step. Don't say that we are taking your money, whatever. We are doing it in stages that if there is any wrong at the beginning, this is a teething problem. Instead of recalling back hundreds of thousands, we are putting in batches out. We see the problem. Now we know the plug was one problem. The other problem is something else which came up. We rectified. The new system which you receive from this batch, they all carry CE certification underneath with your power units. They've all been embedded in because we received the CE certificate. I signed the certificate with my co-director of the company last week. So it's embedded on your system. We carry the American certification too. It's been proven to be correct. So those who use these systems for the car, please speak from the beginning to a mechanic who knows what he's doing, because your cars needs tuning. The less energy you use, the less air you use, the carburetor needs to be tuned on regular basis till you get the maximum performance. We think the maximum performance, yes, this is our electrician trying to get through to get some plasma energy. The maximum power we think, the maximum limit we will get is the energy performance, maybe 50 to 70% reduction in the fuel part side of the hybrid. The other part of the hybrid, which is a plasma, will supply 30 to 50%, maybe 70% in some cars. You will see a better performance in the running of the car. You see a more powerful car. You find a less, what do you call it, better handling. If you leave your system on all the time, you feel the change even when you start the car in the morning. So because when now these systems have been built in the way they are, you introduce a plasmatic environment in the car, the same as what you do in the house. It affects a lot of things. What is interesting, people who test these things, they report to you, they sit in the car to calm down. The strange thing is, people who are using it and made some car units, they tell you that they used to get agitated in the car traffics with the others. It's not important anymore. These are plasma, which therefore you find peace in the car. Maybe next time you're arguing with the wife, just we go in the car and then we'll see what happens. So what I'm trying to do from today is to encourage you, now that we are collectively developing the technology together, to start building systems for application of it. Because the multinationals will be still busy building electrical system, we'll be busy making a plasma system. And somewhere in the middle, we have to meet that, as I said, this technology will create a lot of unemployment, but it will create a lot of new employment. The whole structure, what I inspire you to do, as I always say, we don't teach, we inspire development of the new way of thinking and equipment, is try to look, now that we open to you, instead of wires to go into matter state heating and lighting, find a way where you can enhance the drawing of the energy from the plasma through nano layers, or start producing nano plasma technology for heating, cooking, and what we call the wireless system of energy transfer. In fact, if you understand how to do, one of these is gravitational and the other one is magnetical. Pardon? He taped it. Which one is gravitational? The orange tape, the concept. Okay, if you can see it, Arman has made this. Let's put it this way. Pardon? I move it this way. Yeah, I come into the range. If you see it this way, this is the old and this is the new. This is a matter state. This is the plasma state. And they can work together very fine because they are made of the same material. But if you start using nano-coated wires, nano-coated coils, these should not necessarily need to be wires. You can carry on the coiling in a very fine way. And different winding of the coil will give you different strength. You can use one for, in a way, nowadays we put plug into different things. Your plugs can be different coil thicknesses and windings to dictate the energy you want to put. To start expanding on the knowledge. Make systems where from one wire you bring hydrogen energy, from another wire you bring strength of, let's say, carbon. And if you connect the two in a plasmatic condition at the end, again, Marco's favorite word, gradient, 1 and 12, the same as what you have here to create heating, you can create light using plasma condition transfer. You understand? He is really thinking hard. How is going to this happen? You'll do it in no time. Now, instead of working on different potentials, work on different strengths of gravitational magnetic field, how much you pull from your gravitation, how much you pull from magnetic. If you create and pull a large volume strength of the gravitational in trying to become magnetical, what would it give you? You create environment that at the end of the environment, if your pipes put in together, what the environment will give you? We've seen the production of gold this week in the teaching. How? By creating environment, the matter has manifested itself as gold. Vince, do we have those pictures from to put on regarding the gold production? The gold, the pictures we received in having gold by putting the material in the GANs of.
Yeah, see if I can find those just a minute.
We showed this last week. Brett, as you did for us on last week in teaching, now can you explain how and the way the gold was produced in the water in the GANs? Because you understand, you've been there or you initiated it when you were there.
Sure, I'll wait for Rick to get the pictures up.
Okay. We wait till Rick gets the picture up. So what happens, what you're going to see is, Brad will explain to you how it came, but the end condition is a plasmatic gravitational magnetic field was produced that in the water, the energy led to what it looks to be gold. But this has another reason why it's gold. I try to move this one out of the way. Here's my business here. Can we open this a bit deeper or is this maximum? Okay, Brett, can you explain how I can zoom? No, it's
Rick, whoever's doing it needs to zoom in.
Can you speak a bit louder and explain what happened and how this matter was produced in the environment of the GANs?
Sure. He was made some CO2, the guy I was working with, and there was some zinc oxide in there, I'm sure, from the zinc plates he used. And he mixed that with some crystals and a powder that was mixed in. He had a wand, one of these energy wands he bought 10 years ago, and he broke it open and it had crystals in it and some powder residue. So we dumped it in the container and mixed it with the ganses and let it sit, and it just started making gold.
Do you want to say why it's gold? You have to explain the other half.
Okay. Well, in the earth,
Just wait. We got our electrician downstairs trying to get in. Okay, carry on.
in the earth, there's gold that's formed in the veins of crystals. if you research it. And also I added up the math from the periodic table of the ganses and the crystals and everything, and it comes to just about a little over 200, which is near about around gold.
Can you explain to us who the guy is, why he wanted gold, why he created gold through emotion?
Yes, we were trying to make gold for about a month. I made some when I was there on accident, and I couldn't figure out what I did because I was sick and I didn't remember. So I was giving him advice, telling him, and we went through a bunch of processes that failed, and finally he did it. And his dad is in the gold business, so he's been trying to make gold for a month now, any way he could. And he just his intuition led him to this, and made gold.
His intention was to make gold. Look, she says, can you make me some? You know how to do it? There she is. Can you make me some? We have a CO2 GANs. He'll do it tonight. So if and when we test this in a coming time, we'll make an arrangement to be tested and confirmed to be gold. You will understand what I've been trying to tell you for a long time. If you create the right condition environment, you can transfer anything to gold. And that's what I kept on telling to the British government officials. You don't need to create mayhem to make killing and murdering so many people to empty the reserve tanks of the banks of the nations. This is exactly what Hitler did. It's the continuation of the same process by the same people some years later. Now they're entering central banks of Africa, which Hitler couldn't do. They emptied the central bank of Europe in the Second World War. You can now make as much gold as you like when you want. Maybe if the Cash Foundation community around the world start making kilos and kilos of gold, gold will have no value and it ends up all the wars. Now we have to find another material to fight with. Maybe another material will be opening up the space technology that whatever we need in the space we can produce. This is not one or two pieces. It's a huge amount. We're not talking one strand. If you look, some pieces are in chunks. Are they gold? And even if they are not gold, it's very important because for the first time using the gravitational magnetic field from end of these things, which is again what those gases were made of, we have managed to unravel the secret of production of matter out of plasma. So what we did, we came through this guy, through the energy of the matter by boiling, burning, nuclear, whatever. We converted it to a plasma. We brought the plasma out and we can convert it back to the matter. So we have found the secret of creation in the universe. It's us now to expand and find new ways of doing it. Those of you who were dreaming to make as much gold or any material, all you need to do, as in a very simple way, by a very simple man called Brett, is the second time he's brought us these kind of messages. The first time was the beginning of the energy transfer. And now, the second time, he is a man of messengers. He brings us good news every time he walks somewhere. The first time when Brett and Vince start showing the pins and the rest of it, if you remember a year ago in the teaching. Now we see the gold. What is it? Am I supposed to laugh? Okay. So you see, now we understand if we change the GaNs of CO2 or the zinc to, let's say, the GaNs of aluminum and zinc, would he says yes. Would we get silver? Because this is what you got to do in a space. In a space, you don't carry a refinery or a melting company which just makes aluminum. You create the environment of the plasma. You create the environment where the strength of the plasma leads to the material you need. This is what the plants do. Can we take this off sharing? Oh, let me do it. If I can bring it down. This is not something you don't know. It's just now that you know. Okay, Rick, can you stop sharing, please? Okay, now I've got to minimize. Okay, this is not something you don't know. You've already done this. It's just getting the confidence to do it more in a more elaborate ways to increase the energy. It's like you start going to a weight, what do you call weight lifting company, and you try to learn to lift more and more. You don't go and lift 100 kilo the first time. You break your back. You start with a, he says yes again. You start with 10 kilo, then you build up to 20, and then you go get better. You understand how to make more efficient. You already have achieved 6. The 6 came from the CO2 and zinc plate. You created a gravitational magnetic field in the container, which was gravitational magnetic field of the carbon. So you already know the technology. Now you have to create a condition or other materials in this environment that you can create 200, 235, 249, 8, oxygen or whatever. But the difference is now you had a matter plate nano-coated, which we call it a copper. Now you have a free plasma through this system that you can adjust. You create the environment, make boxes, and try to create condition of the replication as a simple man like Brad did. He went on the internet with the crystals, with what was in there, makes 200. The gravitational magnetic field in that environment was near gold. The intention of the man was to create gold is like exactly how we taught in the health section. Red blood is your emotion, and the lymph is your physicality, and the current of intention leads to creation of cell of the nail or a cell of the heart. So the intention came because he wanted to make gold. The material was there because he created the environment of the lymph with the glands. And the current difference between the intention and what he wanted, intention is more powerful, it dictated the condition of gold. And that's how you do in a space. This is the space technology in its rawest form. You want to build a house on planet Zeus? He says yes. Made of aluminum. You create the environment of both the intention, the zinc, or what you call the lymph. The difference between the two, what you call neurocurrent, leads to production of the matter you need. You can make composite by just a wish of it, but it's too far for you to understand in public, but the students in the SSI already getting in that position. They are learning how to do it. So we've seen the production of gold and why gold had to be the first and carbon had to be the first gas and gold had to be the first metal we produce. We produce CO2 because it's the balance of understanding and what we see we need to get rid of what we've been told that our planet is in danger. We connect to gold because we see it as a point of wealth and freedom. We solve the both end of the problems. There is no global warming. He says yes again. And then there is enough gold to share. I encourage you, follow Vince, what do you call it, Brett. Write a manual and put it on the pages of the Keshe Foundation on the blueprint how to make gold. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's becoming a very, very international lecture. Huh? Let me explain who is here. We have a Belgium. We don't know. We think she's Belgium. We have a Slovenia. We have Italian Canadian. We have a French Canadian. Spanish Italian. Italian. We have from Slovenia. Armenian American. We don't know where he sits, but he's an Armenian. We have from Hungary. We have from South Korea, from Hungary. This teaching room is becoming a flower pot of the beautiful flowers. So now you see how if Brad can put on a blueprint how to make gold, please try, as many of you, and make a ring and make bars of it, and don't try to sell it, because otherwise you start the same mayhem, because everybody else is selling mayhem gold and then they have no value, so you made it for no reason. But start producing gold the way Brett and Thomas will put it on the internet. That's why I say we start building up the blueprint. This is another part of blueprint. Those of you who understood how to do the change of count to make your system more efficient, add it to the blueprint. This is a blueprint of life made by humanity. It's open. This is what we said. We start making the encyclopedia of the plasma. This is the beginning of it. We all add our knowledges to it, irrespective of the race, nation, or which part of this planet we come from. I'm sure some of the information shared here is by a Jewish guy, and we know 100% one of them is a Muslim. They're all in there. I don't know why they're fighting in Palestine. We have Christians which are putting information there, and we have Buddhists and the ones who have no faith. We have blacks, whites, from all sorts of lives, scientists, housewives, a barber. We're all putting it in. In a way, we are building the encyclopedia of the universal operation, but this time we are all in it. When I sometimes look and see the communications, I know who's Jewish, I know who's Muslim, I know, but they don't care. It's just making the nano coating as fast as you can. It's very interesting. I had a very strange experience in the past week. It wasn't strange, I'm used to it, but it was to understand. Part of our operation here, our partners, we have an in-house lawyer. We don't need to go anywhere. It's the way it's the whole structure of Keshe Foundation is setting up. We're not going out to find lawyers. Within the structure, we have lawyers. But they knew I'm from Iran, and they hear so much about the Iran, Islamic country, and the terrorists in Rome, and I'm in Rome. They were scared to tell me our in-house lawyer is a Jewish woman. It was I could see a few weeks there was some problems, but it was very friendly problems. But it got to the point why the lawyer is not on the table. It's a Jewish holiday. I said, you know something? I don't work with Jews, because that was they're expecting from me. I'm a Muslim. I don't work with. I said, I don't work with Jews. Finished. They put her on the line. She said, I said, are you Jewish? She says, yes. I said, you know I don't work with the Jews, because this is what the expectation. Muslims don't work. I said, it was a Friday afternoon. I said, Shabbat Shalom. She just went. I said, I'm half Jew. I'm married to a Christian, and I'm half Muslim, and I'm educated by Zoroastrians. Now there is no problem. Why? In the path of God belief, we come to get the separation. So share the knowledge. Build up the blueprint. The blueprint is what we said years ago. We start making the encyclopedia of the plasma. It's you who's going to add to it. What you hear, what you see, write it in, put it on the internet, on the blueprint package. Then you will see how we can add totally into the knowledge. Today, you learn a lot of things. The teaching will become so interesting, it's not worth going to work anymore. Because
Mr. Kesh, let me show some more of the blueprint pictures while you continue talking there.
you explain.
Okay, so we've got, this is Jeffrey Russell from Bossier City in LA, USA. That's Louisiana, USA.
Pardon?
From Louisiana, Jeffrey Russell.
Stop, 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 stop. Go back up, go back up. Just go, no, the other way, down, 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 down. Stop there. Go down, stop. Oh no, the picture you were in. Go back to the picture.
Mr. Kesh, what are these colors on the photo?
Yeah, that's exactly. You see, there is one there as well. It's interesting. We saw this color spectrum with the nano needles with Dr. Elia Kostova, if you remember. The change of the shape. Now we understand it. You remember she took a picture with the camera, we couldn't see a shadow, but we could see it there. There. Huh? Yeah, we have it. Caroline says people are seeing it on the help pens too. People who are making the help pens, the pens, they are photographing, we see the same thing. This shows the spectrum of the energies which you can transfer. But this could be the lighting because we have it there. But it's the lighting. But what's very interesting, let me ask, is Brennan on the line? Brennan is usually there. Renan is the head of the innovation of the Keshe Foundation in Philippines. Is he online? Renan, are you there?
Don't see him right now.
You don't see him right now. Renan has access to a picture where this is blue and this is black. Just the same kind of blue as you see here, you see on the gravitational field. I have it on my set. I try to send it through to become part of the blueprint. My God. It's a very bad. I have to find a solution for this. Okay, but you see this there, this blue, we've seen it. But this could be light because you see the reflection. Yeah, it could be. But you see these things in the process of nano coating. We start releasing pictures that you can see it. With the color, when you do it, it shows. This week, hopefully next day or two, we release the how to nano coat these coils as a made up coils. The Keshe Foundation Innovation Team will send it, we post it, how to nano coat the coils. If you have only 5 to 10% efficiency, follow the procedure on the nano coating. Pardon?
Okay, that'll be good for people.
The units have arrived. No. I have to see them. Okay. I was just told the new units have arrived for testing. We'll do it before we go out. Okay, carry on.
I just wanted to say that I do see somebody in the chat here. They were looking for information. Just a sec, though.
They're looking for what? Can we? So if they can send it to you, post it. Good morning, Giovanni. Thank you very much. Thanks for all your hard work. Thank you.
So I see that last picture was not from Jeffrey Russell from Louisiana. There's another link for what he's doing. This was actually Jill Rasmussen from the Gold Coast of Queensland, Australia. Okay.
Yeah, it says Australia. You got to realize if you're running chat rooms, if you're running what we call discussion rooms on different kind of nanomaterials, nanotechnology, go back to the Keshe Foundation. We have made accommodation for you to put your chat lines, discussion groups on the Keshe Foundation network. We give you a logo association, which means you are connected to us. It's your responsibility to make sure there are no rubbish written there, everything is correct, and you monitor your website. If you have chat rooms like we have brought in with us, thanks to his work, the golden age of GANs is going to be connected or should be done by now on the website of the Keshe Foundation. There are other chat rooms, discussion groups, be it to do with the spiritual side or the emotional side of the foundation, what they can do through plasma. As long as you are not out of line, we give you a recognition that on the internet, when you go, people come on your Facebook or you come on your chat, they can see, you can link it up to Keshe Foundation, that they can find connection, why and how, and the reason you connect with us. So we are bringing a family of the Keshe Foundation together, as I explained. Artists who work around Keshe Foundation, they can post their work in the community that we can promote the people who work and promote with us. Carry on.
We have here some pictures from the Keshe Foundation Nigeria, from Sunny Udosin. It's got some pictures of what appears to be some GANs containers, and then there's various pictures. There's lots of coils being produced, you can see.
Don't forget, Nigeria is one of the richest oil-producing nations on this planet, and only 5% of the nation have access to electricity.
I think this is a great picture here in terms of what people can do without electricity. In this case, it appears they can hand wind their coils, or maybe they use a gun of some sort to wind the coils, but a drill or whatever. But people can do this sort of thing literally sitting around at home as a cottage industry type of procedure. So it's interesting there. They appear to be in a bedroom doing it. So it becomes a community gathering sort of activity.
We said in the other teachings, grandmas used to knit wool, now they knit coils.
Yes, exactly. It's literally true.
Process.
Literally true. Oh, let's not forget the grandfathers too, though.
Pardon?
Let's not forget the grandfathers too, not just the grandmothers.
Yes, I've seen some pictures in China from people that are 80 years old that are winding coils.
Can we have those pictures? Where is this one from?
This is part of the same group from Nigeria.
It's beautiful.
Or at least that was the picture. I don't see it on the same picture here. It's the way I understood it. Maybe it got mixed up with one of the others there.
Okay.
It appears that's the way he did it. Okay, so go on here. Here's an interesting one from Suzanne Alexander from Phoenix, Arizona, her plasma unit. And you can see that.
It's fantastic for teaching.
I call it the love power reactor. See if there's a couple of other pictures here. I'm not sure what she has. There's a different side angle. You can see the plug-in on the side, which is kind of nice. It isolates the unit from the plug-in. She's got a power meter in the wall. There's a top view.
It looks like she's mummified her coils. Does that look right to you?
Yeah. There's a lot of female ladies or women or housewives who are getting into this. Because as I said before, they see it by being able to produce the energy at home they can save on the bills and they can feed their family with. We're seeing a surge of women who are getting involved. And as our friend said in America, it's 500 women and children are producing GaNs and nano coating. Women becoming very strong in their ways.
Hello, everyone. This is Susan. I was.
Next one.
We can perhaps look at the video that Suzanne offers here, just briefly. Let me see if I can share that. Let's just do it this way.
Just finished up my.
Well, I think I have to share with the audio on. Was it? Okay. Let me readjust my live stream because it needs to be readjusted for the full screen. And okay, here we go.
Hello, everyone. This is Susan. I was just finished up my power unit today. I ended up using some configuration last week that was not working out. And thanks to Leaf Painter from Canada, who was gracious enough to Skype with me and share this wonderful document that I was not aware of. And I used the configuration page 4, which is configuration 4. This is the one I used and rewired my unit. And this is the original that was presented by the blueprint that I used, which is how I have connected my stacker units. And this morning, after finishing the wiring based on the configure 4, I was able to connect my capacitor and connect a negative just the way the chart is. And I'm indicating the hot that's going out to the load. And I'm not going to run things too long, but I'm just going to present that it is working. I am getting 110 volts coming out of my watt meter that is going into my input. And then I also measured my output coming out this way, which is going to my plug here. And I connected 2 items. One is a simple air filter. And as I turn it on, you can see that you can hear the noise. It's getting air in and it's on. And I also have a sharpener, pencil sharpener. I don't have any fancy LED lights to show you, but I can show you that this one works.
Okay, so let's see. Let's try. There's just another very short video here, I believe. Let's see if I think maybe it's the right. Just shows.
Here's the pencil.
Okay, it shows the pencil is working. And I think there's another short one here. as well.
On behalf of myself and those of us who are in Arizona, I wanted to thank Mr. Cash and all the ones involved in the research at the Institute worldwide for the gift that you've given us. Bye.
Okay, so that's Suzanne's. Let me, oops, I should have continued sharing there just a second. Okay, back to the screen share. And okay, so we have another, let me just get this a little bigger here. We have another unit from Mark Erb of Alex, Virginia, USA. Not sure how long this video is. Maybe we could have a quick look at it. Oh, it's only 6 seconds.
And there's the final coat.
Oh, okay. Let me share differently. Let's try it this way. You see the desktop there? Okay, let's just redo that one.
And there's the final coat.
So it's a very quick video of the nano-coated coils drying. Okay, so I think that's all we see out of his unit there. We keep going. We see Gisela Spencer from Silver City, New Mexico, USA. And we see more of the GANS containers, and this is her appearing to be working in her living room area or some area. Appears to be doing heating of the coils process. There's some completed nano-coated GANS coils. And let me see, there's another short video here, I think. Well, it's a couple of minutes. Perhaps we should have a look at that.
Hi, I'm Gisela. I'd like to show what some of the girls have been up to with making of the plasma units, the maggrav units. So, here we have GANs, an assortment of these two mixed, some parchment papers, and an attempt to paint. No. That is too runny, guys. Oh, wear your gloves. Yes. Makes you feel a bit pukey if you don't. Trust me. Okay. So in the kitchen, my failed attempt. Yep, coils are the wrong way around. My capacitor-wacitor units, which I did not rinse properly. Salty, cakey mess, not good. Okay, then rewound coils, tried to fire coat, nano coat, took all day, couldn't go black, fail, so caustic it is. And we're just waiting for our final steaming capacitor. Don't touch, but touching. Capacitor with the inside pin has a little coil wrap to stop it falling out. Not sure that's going to work anyway. Mr. Kesh said to play, so indeed we are playing. And some extra coils at the ready, waiting for the Blueprint Health class. Most exciting. Thank you, Mr. Kesh. Thank you to all who've made the videos. Wish I had my unit up, but maybe I'll make another one when I have. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, and next we have Lee Coates from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. A little video showing his plasma power. Oh my goodness.
You Canadian have to do everything with that.
Whoa. It's kind of rather spectacular. I think that's his own work there, I believe. Let's try that again.
Okay, I got my plasma power unit all hooked up and it appears to be running. Right now I got an LED light and a fan plugged in the top of it. I'll turn the fan off because it's noisy. So I got, that's the output power on the top of that plug. We got our 3-stacker coils. I got a neck of a juice bottle in the middle with the Gantz in it. It was a little tight to get a ping pong ball in there. So I got that electrical box on the bottom is just so I can clamp the wire for the cord coming in.
Sorry, I'm hearing some music in the background there. Yeah, so I'm not going to play the audio of the video then. Sorry, we'll just have to watch it through without that. People should realize that if they put any background music on their video, then we can't use it on the live show or on a recorded YouTube or live stream. It's a copyright violation. Okay, seems like we can see the capacitors here. And the layers of coils.
Just to let people know, though, this is available on our Blueprint website, is it not, Rick?
Yes, that's right. It's at the blueprint.keshfoundation.org site. There's all these different units. That was Lee Coates from Calgary, Alberta. There's another one from Ali from Vancouver, BC, who we saw before. He's got a couple of videos. I don't know if we have time for these right now. Should we carry on with this, Mr. Kesh? Or I just wanted to show, let me briefly go through. There's Will from New Jersey here. There's Aladokun from New Jersey as well on how to wind the coils. And we've got Max Bejerey from Switzerland here as well. So my point was initially that there's people from all over the world that are contributing, not just from 1 or 2 countries or whatever. And this is only a small cross section.
We know
many more people.
Can I come in, please, Rick? We know a number of people are trying to set up Kesh Foundation USA. Kesh Foundation USA as an entity is already being set up, registered company. If you have different type and you want to carry on with your work and websites, and we heard there is a Keshe Foundation community chat room, you have to connect them back to the Keshe Foundation website that you get our support. In a coming time, we'll release all the people who are associated with us. And if you've done so much work making these chat rooms, these teaching lines as part of the Keshe Foundation, it's important to bring it all under one roof. I was told there is a big one in California. Am I correct? Long Beach, California. Get in touch with Arman because you are using a name which is not there, should not be there in using Keshe Foundation name. And pardon? Long Beach, California. And you got to understand, we try to bring, especially now that we're going into production of new materials and new things, we have to work as one team, as one group. And this is important. Do you have anything to say, Rick?
Pardon me, anything to say? Should I stop the screen sharing now? Okay, maybe he meant that I have something to say to put in some time here for him to compensate for the sound there. Well, let me just go back to putting this on again here then. And let's have a look at Ali's sets of coils and infinity loop here.
I think we're...
So I'm working on...
Sorry, go ahead.
We've seen this from Ali last week. He showed us some things.
Yeah, there was things last week. This is, I think, a little
See,
different.
can you just slide back a little bit? Go back a little bit, just a little bit more. A little bit, just 1 second or two. Stop. You see now, oops, go back. Go down to where you were in the blue plates, please. Back. Can we? Okay, there. You see now with the development, we know this gap here between the two coils has a direct effect on your energy production of your unit. Try to close this gap as much as you can. Maybe build the inner core at number 9, which is 81. And actually, I was told by our innovation guys, if you keep 144 and 89, you are near the golden ratio of 1.6. It's actually 1.7. And the length of the wires you use to make it is about the same.
Yes, that's right. Somebody mentioned the 1.7 ratio, whether that was correct in the chat, and it did remind me of that golden ratio number, the 1.
The golden ratio is about 1.61 something. It's very near. So if you got to close this gap. Open this one slightly a little bit more that you close. Make 81. You can make 72. 72, 144. Still gives you a 9:9 ratio. But then the ring moves slightly further out. The way you GaNs coated the coils, now that you make a 144 and 81, the two become literally, what happens is like this. I was taught this morning, or yesterday and this morning, by our innovation group. What happens, if you see it, the closer you get your magnetical and gravitational together, It's like having the magnetico-gravitational inside. So you emphasize on a matter, the emotion, and the soul of the two interacting. That's why the energy comes in. It encircles itself. Even when you try to keep these together, try to use a nano-coated wire as a loop, infinity loop. Then you keep your system together. No, then it doesn't work. Now, the gravitational has to be always tight back. Something is just important to learn is take the knowledge. Don't be narrow-minded because we said you have to do. Pardon? Ah, okay. Do you want me to close the full screen? Where do we go with this one? He's got it. I don't have it. Exit. Here. Okay. Okay. So what I keep on saying, the biggest problem this technology will have is if all of us, as the ones who start, as the ones who are doing it, as the ones who will come on, follow the same mistakes of the past and the narrow-mindedness of it's been said that way and it's sacrosanct. It has to be done that way. Explore, add to the knowledge. Remember, always very simple thing. Creation of the condition leads to the creation of effects and results. The creation of different conditions leads to creation of so many stars, planets, everything else we see. Nobody, God has not managed yet, with all his knowledge, to produce a star manufacturing system yet. But he can produce them and deliver them at a point. The stars, galaxies, planets, even human race is created out of the balance of interaction of the fields, which depends on the interaction of the balance of the fields of the solar system, the galaxy, and the universe. So it's both ways. It's exactly like this system. You start from the matter, you create fields, and you use the fields to create the matter of the desire. So don't get narrow-minded, even so early in the structure of the technology, that this is how it's done. I've seen this done with the coils, I've seen done with other things, and when somebody moves slightly in the right or the left, then he becomes, oh, he's done this, we have to copy it. Copy, but copy with an open-minded that all of you now are in the University of Knowledge and you're all professors, scientists in plasma technology. It's so young, in its infancy, that any one of us with a small input can change the course in one way or another. Work as a team that we add to the knowledge, not creating gurus that then we all become follower of one and we forget the rest. And I see this happening, and this has to stop at the beginning, because any of you, a housewife, a child in a school, we see in China, a man as a barber in London, a physicist from Romanian University, we all have become, to understand, we are part of a new family, a family of knowledge, which the knowledge will lead us to a family of peace. So don't get so narrow-minded because they've shown that it has to be so much. Explore it. This is what we do in innovation. And then come and share us. We might use it. It might not be used for 10 years, but somewhere down the line, somebody might see the video you made or a point you made and see the connection and lead to another direction of evolution of the knowledge. So please, when we say, can we stretch the coil? Stretch it. See if you get the result. But this is what we see. Because our job at the moment is optimizing the maximum level of the plasma we can get out of these systems, because we know what we are looking for. We are looking for to convert this system with this adjacent system which comes in to just produce water. We are not doing a magic. We change the condition inside using the plasma created. We have made the source. Now we're trying to build system how we can use this source. It's not that it's going to be another unit with something magic in it. The only magic is we try to create the gold. You connect this one to unit, you want gold today because you're going out, you want to give it a nice ring, but it says, oh, I already have one of these systems at home. Or you can produce a diamond, or you want to produce food. This is where the next evolution comes. The next system sitting next to this, we try to achieve water. Because water, less than 3 days, we die. Our body is 75, 80% dependent on the strength gravitational magnetic field of oxygen and hydrogen. You don't need necessarily to produce water, but if we can produce the gravitational magnetic field of the water, when we can show it can be done, we can put it anywhere in the house. We can place hundreds of these across the city. Nobody needs to drink poisoned water. The structure is the way you understand two rings near each other change the field. Yes. You want my microphone because you got to be heard. Otherwise, you're.
Thank you. Mr. Cash, what I wanted to say is our friend, Mr. Shandor Kakashi, a few days ago presented a video when he were able to accumulated water by using the plasma technology.
He's a very clever man. He never told me. Sandor!
Yes, Mr. Cash, it's actually an old video of 2014 August, and we discussed it in one of the Cash knowledge seekers workshop.
Can we see it?
Let me. Okay, a little later now. My browsers are frozen. I'm getting so many requests that I cannot handle all.
Ah, this is the one with Alex and what's his name? The infinity loop.
No. It was a blue container in the middle of which I put a saved CO2 kit made of thin copper wires, nano-coated.
I've seen that one. That's an old one. Yeah.
Yes, it's an old one, and same collected water has been observed earlier by Brett Baggett.
So now, thank you very much, Sandor.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
And you had a very nice explanation on one of the kids' workshops about this water unit, how it can work.
You sound you're like at the bottom of a pit. Can you come closer?
Sorry, my microphone. I have to reboot my computer to use the better microphone.
Okay, no problem.
Since yesterday I was not able to reboot it. Too many open tasks are here. So earlier it was for you had a nice presentation in one of the kids' workshop where you explained why water is collected, because the outer container was a nano-coated plastic which was used earlier with potassium hydroxide process of nano-coating, and the carbon and hydrogen of the surface of the nano-coated plastic container, which is the external, and the CO2 gas, which is compressed into the other, that creates the difference of field of the water.
You see, with nano coating, I think a lot of you will find we're waiting for this noise to finish. As I said, after 8 months, we're getting light in the offices downstairs. The Italians managed to arrive. They're very, very far from here in Italy, but they just managed to arrive after 8 months. What I was explaining is that one of your shortcuts to be able to produce water is plastic containers. Understand the reason. I used to have a pen. I still do have a pen somewhere here. Try to look in the structure of the plastics you use, a combination. Water is H2O. Somebody's microphone is open. Plastic has a CH bond. When you nanocoat, you release gravitational magnetic field of carbon plus the gravitational magnetic field of hydrogen. Carbon is 12, oxygen is 60. So if you can create very much the way we did with the copper plate and what do you call it, the zinc plate, nano-coated, an environment that somewhere in this distance of your container and the plastic which you use, you create the environment of the H2O, you will be able to produce water. This is what we are trying to do in achieving to produce water in these systems. We don't extract water from the environment. We attract gravitational magnetic fields in the environment which are near water. This is the way you absorb half of the water of your body more or less during the daytime. Then you can produce physical water. The way we saw with Bratt and Thomas producing gold. They create an environment which is gravitational magnetic field of gold, and it was there, so it converts, but it was a wish into it. This is something, we go back on the extension of the knowledge from our dearest friend, Alex. He had the water, and he wished the water to carry the taste of an energy of the orange. In the morning, he had the orange. In the afternoon, he needed the energy to be much stronger. In Africa, you associate banana with food, with energy. So in the afternoon, when he's weak, he wanted banana. He had the banana taste. We associate freedom with drunkenness. When you're drunk, you don't have anything. Why didn't he get drunk in the morning and have an orange in the afternoon and banana at night when he was going to sleep? So state of thought gives the energy from the system. So when you come to the system, in these systems, and you have a continuous balance of what you need in the system, the desire of the demand will create what you need. This is very, very important. This is one of the biggest structures. That's why in the coming time, you do not need to have every entity in your package. It's a lymph and emotion. It's the desire which gives you what you need. In the body of man, we only carry blood, which is the emotion, and we carry the lymph, which is part of the energy of physicality. At the point is desire to have a cell of a nail. The current difference between the two leads to creation of a cell as a nail. So in a space, you don't need hundreds of different machines for everything. The machine in creating and absorbing, in bringing the energy, excuse me, can you stop talking in the background? In that process, your desire becomes the need. Desire becomes the trigger. On Earth, we used to have something called a chicken. And it used to have omega-3. So it gives you the chicken with the omega-3 because you desired it. But is there any need for it in the body to be used? Maybe yes. Does every cell of your body, when it needs potassium energy to become something else, or a calcium to become part of your bone, does it come to your desire, or it creates a need demand and it takes from the source and you continue to receive whatever you need in every part of your body? This is how I keep on explaining to you from the beginning of the teaching. In the nature where we live, where we are, we talk about maybe 1600 calories a day. That's 1600 calories a day. If you can live and run such a body with 1600 calories a day, and you can define calorie as joules, you are better than God. So what you take 1600 is what you take in the matter state, which is less than 20% of what you need. If you add the others to it, if you transfer into the language of the matter, it at least so your total need, daily need, is something like 10,000 calories a day. You take 1600, 2000 from the solid food conversion, because serves the matter state conversion of what you are made of. The other 80% comes from the environment. What you actually, if you understand, we can extend the knowledge, is this. This 1600 comes from the matter state of the creation of the humanity. This part comes from the atmosphere of this earth. Because when the atmosphere, which is carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, came in touch with the matter state, lead to creation of hemoglobin and life. What you take in solid state is to feed what is came from the matter end of this equation. The amino acid side, which absorbs this energy, comes from the atmosphere. So you absorb 80% of your needs from your atmosphere continuously. You are just a big sponge in a pool of gases of the creation. What we eat is, because don't forget, go back to the teachings from the beginning. You have the upper atmosphere, where by the interaction of the fields of the sun, which comes down, led to creation of nitrogen. The interaction of the two fields in that region of upper atmosphere creates nitrogen. In the interaction up and down, you create the oxygen and carbon with a hydrogen or helium as a balance. Then, when these came into interaction with the solid part of the earth, where iron and copper and the rest are, this became the amino acid. Amino acid is the atmospheric part of the human body. The physical part is to do when it interacts with the earth, which is the iron, the copper, and the rest, all on the seas with other level of density of material. Here became fish. Here became fish because it's lesser dense liquid. Here became more solid because of the solid state of the matter, which iron, which is heavier. It became red meat and white meat. So when you eat or you talk about 1600 calories, it's only to do with this part field. The rest you take from the atmospheric field. Now you understand how from the beginning we keep on telling you what you eat is only 20%. The 20% has a reason, because when you go in the mass order reversal of the interaction, you find atmospheric plays 4:1. Do you remember why? Do you understand why? Why 4:1? You put out 4, you take out 1. Now you understand why from the beginning we explain we take 20% of our life from Earth in the solid state. 80%, which is 1:5 ratio, which is now more or less getting confirmed through the test of the plasma with matter state. You bring a matter state in, you take a plasma out, but it gives you 4 times energy back. So this is what you need to take from the environment to bring the balance between the matter and plasma. The plasma state is the gases, the matter state is the Earth. And the interaction between the two creates the 37-degree heat of the body of the man. Exactly what we talked in the ratio above. When we start talking about making the heating elements, now you see more or less how the heating in the body of the man at every point is done. But this is much deeper than this. In time, when we explain, you understand. So you don't need to go, I need calcium, this sulfur here. It creates its energy, it takes from the environment what it needs accordingly. It's you now in a space technology in deep space to make sure you create a gravitational magnetic field environment that is, these kind of fields are available to it. As I said, you become fish in the tank of the universe. So things start making sense, how plasma is easier and the reason for the source of creation. It's very, very simple. It's so easy to understand, but it's taken 10 years, 20 years to teach. Because there were so many wrong teaching has been put in, according, not wrong, but that's what we understood, that's how we evolved. And now it's to correcting it is take time. Because we accepted so much wrong hypocrisy ideas that to bring it, for us brings shame. Why were we so stupid to accept that? Now if we accept this, it shows we are stupid, so now we don't want you stupid, we stick to the old one. This is all it is. There's no difference. When the top scientists, nuclear physicists in the world, according to the American government, comes to the Keshe Foundation, and then a very simple man like Armin, coming from the United States, explains in a different way how you make nanomaterial and the plasma and the GANs, and then he takes you to the garden and says, if you change the name of plasma in your system, I say you have found something new, otherwise I have to reject you. And the idiot sitting in a whatever, Washington, the highest level, believe his bullshit. That's where we are in. Because as a head of CERN physicist, being Italian, he cannot be told everything you've done is all bunch of rubbish. Your PhD worth and your professorship for the bin. This is where the problem is. Because we accepted we're giving these people so much position, now we believe them, because if we don't believe them now, it's just we've been believing a bunch of idiots. And that's how the science is getting entangled in the wrong science. If this professor, we know who he is, we have published his name before, from the top man in CERN who came to Keshe Foundation and realized all his patents worth nothing anymore with the acceptance of this plasma, and he puts is not acceptable. And what did the Americans say? They understood what is done. So we tried to accept this. We send you the highest, the best scientists in the world, but he says to us, in a garden that nobody can hear, if you change the name of your plasma to something else, I agree, you accept that you developed a new technology. And I say, no, it's called the plasma. You find a new name. So he says, I have to write something that doesn't work. And that Worst thing is, you can't tell the man in the White House who the man you send is so stupid. Because then the president looks stupid because he sent a stupid man to him. So he has to accept everybody become thing. We say in Farsi, it means if you don't want to stand to be a black sheep in the lot, you become black too. Then we're all black, a bunch of idiots walking next to each other. The structure is to understand. For the first time in human life, we understand where our amino acid comes from. The amino acid is from the atmosphere. In interaction with the matter state, it's like you're making flour and water. You make a cake. The cake is human race. The cake is a tree. You put chocolate in it, you get a chocolate cake. You put raisins in it, you get raisin cakes. You want a white cake, you want a brown cake. That's all has happened. But in essence, we are all the same. White, black, Chinese, everything else. We all came from the same amino acid, which continuously is produced on the top. When it interacts with the bottom, with the matter state, you get a new cake, you call it the human race. There's no difference. We were not brought in by aliens. We are not from another planet trying to overtake humanity. And Earth is now the best real estate on the planet. It's getting destroyed. Would you like to buy a dump in the back of the garden where it's going to be all demolished? No. Why do you want to buy real estate on a planet that's already on a heading disaster? You must be a very bad investor if you think that way. So, understand, everything starts making sense. Why? Everything you can dictate what to produce. You need to understand in a space you have the pool of universal gravitational magnetic field. Is the intention which give you what you need. You're the son of a gold man. The father made gold all his life. Your desire is to be better than the father. You desire, you achieve gold. Any of you in wood business? Would you like to desire to see planks of wood? Any wine merchants? You can produce anything now, if the desire is sincere. Why this man, the two of them achieved gold? You don't know half of the story. You don't know none of the story, but I can tell you why. Because the goal, the heart of the man who created it and the heart of the man who made it is actually better than gold. They both did one thing. They fought for a life together. One sick and the other one would not live just because the other guy is sick. He stood by him day and night. We monitored it. And his wish was a gift. Brad was so sick, there was nobody in a foreign land on his own. And this boy, the son of a gold merchant, stood by him, took him to hospital, stayed with him day and night. 2 o'clock in the morning, you call, he's there. He's put him in bed, he takes him out to make sure he saves a life. His desire was to get gold and got it because he has a heart of gold. Then you understand where the teaching goes. Your emotion, your what we call lymph, and the desire of the recipient to want to become the end. You can repeat this process anywhere literally in the universe. In planet Zeus, you want gold, the lymph is there because it's full. It's your desire to create the feeling of the emotion of the gold because you know what you can do with it, will be manifest itself. Now we know the secret of the creation of the creator. So don't look how I make water, how I make gold. Now you understand the desire which gives you. Somebody wrote in an answer to someone about These plasmas only create energy if your desire is to have energy. Otherwise, it would not work. The guy understood. So if your desire is to produce energy, to abuse, you will never produce energy because you want to abuse it. Any questions? What's the time? 1 o'clock. We have a long drive back to Rome today. We are involved in the highest level peace negotiations. I have to be back in Rome so we can carry on with the work. Even if on Tuesday I might not be here, or on Wednesday, peace negotiation takes priority over everything else. You have to teach yourself till I come back. Because these talks will be a corner piece of the peace in the Middle East. And we play it so openly that there is no hidden negotiation. This is what is scaring the governments. We should have never told him, but they knew if they tell me, it'll be on the table. So they came to be on the table to put people on the spot that they can get somewhere. It's got to the point that people are getting fed up of killing each other. This is the beauty of it, but they can't find a way out of it. Because all the banks are full of the money they could empty. But the thing is that the guys who did it, they are getting cancer, the children are dying of worse diseases, and they can't find a solution. Now they want to become philanthropists, save their soul. It goes nowhere.
Mr. Kesh, there's one question about what is this red circle about? To clarify, you mentioned that a few times today about the
People
red circle.
understand the red circle very well. The ones who are around the Keshe Foundation, they know what this red circle is. The one who asked the question is the red circle trying to get himself somewhere indicated to take action against us. Red circle stays red circle because he had a pattern right on it, which was nothing.
Okay.
Thank you very much. It's not the communists. The communists are not red anymore. They become too bluer than the blue. The real communists are the more conservative people and the more philanthropists than anybody else. Look at the China and Russia. Those red, you know exactly who they are.
There's a person who wants to know if there's a plasma capacitor manual. And do I put the whole GANs inside the paper, or do I put it on one side of the paper and roll it over and over again?
What you do, you get a toilet roll and paste it with butter. That's all it is. But instead of the toilet roll tissue, try to use a fireproof paper that you don't cause any problem. If you, what you do, you saw it, the lady had it there on the pictures. We're going to bring women teachers to teach us now. You take a piece of, what do you call it, paper. Doesn't matter how long, about 5, 10 centimeters, 5 centimeters, good enough. You cut it to the size of your capacitor, and all you do is put the GANs on it. Make sure it's a paste, not water, because if you have a liquid water or a bit of water in it, when you make your capacitor and you haven't left it to water to evaporate, you're going to get a very big bang till the vapor is released, and then you find out the system works. And then all you do, you make your cigarette roll, what I call it. You put your nano-coated wire in it, and you roll the whole lot down the road till it's complete. You just roll it anti-clockwise in the direction away from the face. And it makes a good plasma. And then, if you want to make a battery out of it, all you need to do before this solid roll or 5 piece of paper, you add an aluminum foil of the same. So you put the aluminum foil, you put the paper, you paste it, and then you put your pin in and roll it. And then you place the whole thing inside the coil. One of the best ways to do is what we do in the power units, you find out your pin pulls out because it's loose. You can make a circular ring on the top to hold it, but that creates another direction. Or what we've done in our systems, in capacitor system, in the factory, they have built a frame, if you look at it, where when you look from the top in that direction, it looks like this. It's got two grooves, and if you look at it in the side way here, oops, if you look at it the side way, your coils will come through this groove, which is here. They hang. That's your, what do you call it? Your springs. And for the spin not to come out, what we done in the factory, we still carried on with a pin here, but we offset the hole at the bottom a slightly different way. Slightly offset. So the pin never comes out and the spring always stays in position. It's a small technical development which allows us to make very rapid. We make literally 4 coil springs in a rapid movement. We can produce 100,000 a day of this. So when you look at it, especially, you know, those old battery holders, which you put the 4 battery in and you cartridge it. Now we put 4 capacitors and we cartridge it. So when you get to the production line, the ends are already ready. The bottom, the lady just puts the 2 turns. System is done. In the new units you receive, most probably through the car units, these are as part of it. So you carry 4 capacitor, and then you decide on the strength of the capacitor, depending on the number of the turns on the coil. There's a new development which I've introduced yesterday in the research innovation side. You can build what we call split power capacitors. The split power capacitors goes in a way that you put your pin in, but you split your coil. You split the coil half this way, and you feed it to yours, and the other half goes back to build the other coil around it. This gives you a lot of power units, but it's, if you look at it, is a backward setting of gravity feeding magnetic pole. The energy absorption is very rapid, and if you nano GaNs coat the end of your center pin, you create an environmental absorption from the environment. So your capacitor becomes, in a way, what we call wireless energy absorber from the environment. It's very easy to do, but it's the process. We are very, that's what I said to our guys. We are absolutely crazy.
Mr. Kesh, there's a couple of questions about the GaNs ball or container in the center of the coils. And perhaps it should be big enough to be in closer proximity to the central coil.
There is a debate on this.
In the similar way that the 2 coils should be closer together.
There is a
debate
on
that
this.
the gap between them should be less.
Does this guy hear me? Rick, can you hear me? Hello?
Audio issues.
Do we have a problem? Is it okay on the live stream? Okay, so we have no problem. There is a debate. Do we want to increase the center ball to reach the coil, like putting the center ball in the center like this? Or would it be better to have a smaller center ball that we allow the field to go? We don't know yet. Maybe yes, maybe no. Maybe if the GaNs of the mixture is inside, the same as the GaNs mixture, what you put on the coil will give a better performance. But would the GaNs mixture in the ball, if it's more powerful, will give you more on the gravitational side? That allows the magnetical to become powerful. What about if we make the GaNs in the center coil much, much weaker, that we pull in? Then the magnetical has less to give. Can we use a variation that we can change the GaNs continuously to get what we need? Make it magnetical gravitation. It's something we learn. If you learn, let us know, try it, because now we are all in the University of Life. And there are no graduates. Hello.
Hello.
Can
Yeah.
Yes, the Italian, what do you call it, siesta has come in. It's time to eat, it's time to eat, 1 o'clock.
Right. Got the message that it's time there for things
We've
to
been
wrap
here
up.
nearly 4 hours.
Yes.
Okay,
Very good.
let us sum up what we've done today, and I thank you for what you've done. First of all, we know we achieved peace through peace negotiation through technology. We put the hand of friendship and peace to the Israeli government in negotiation to enter with us, and we invite the President and the Prime Minister of Israel to Tehran as friends. This is a direct peace talk between two nations, and we are not using the Brigadier General, which is in the hand of the Iraqis or whatever, as a bargaining chip. We are using it as a symbol of peace. You're welcome home. Secondly, we put a hand of collaboration and production to the both sides of the Belgian nation to work as one, to use the Keshe Foundation technology as a platform to unify the nation, irrespective of position, language, culture, or whatever. Thirdly, we are very straightforward in understanding the new changes we need to do with the power units to make them more efficient. And we have shown you what we learned with 14410, with changing of gases to the gas nano coating, and how you can make your system more efficient. On the other hand, we've learned how from now on we start producing nano wires instead of the normal wires to transfer energy in the plasma condition to create whatever we need. And that's all more or less for today. It was a very bad time, but a very good timing. If we can achieve peace between Israel, Iran, and the Palestinians, as we always said when we gave the units to the Palestinian ambassador in the ambassador meeting, that may this technology bring peace between Israel and Palestinians, we have started and we mean it. And maybe this time it took us 2.5 years to achieve peace between Iran and Americans. This time we can do it in 2.5 months. Thank you very much for your time. Don't forget
Thank you.
to
Thank you,
write.
Mr.
Don't forget to write to the Israeli embassies and the Iranian embassies and encourage them to start talking. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. And that'll be the end of the 89th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, November 26, 2015. And once again, thanks everybody for attending. And we'll see you next week at this same time and place. And thanks. Okay, bye for now.